And now on Who's Views, it's time to join JT, Paul, and Third Doctor Ian for the latest headlines.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Who's Views. It's your big show this Sunday, the 15th of February, 2026. How are you all? Hope you are doing well. Wow, what a week it's been in the United Kingdom this week. We nearly lost the Prime Minister this week, but he seemed to bounce back with a really ridiculous thing where he came back and said, oh, look, somebody said this now. Let's all focus on them. He got away with it just about, but for how much longer? I don't know. But it's been a very entertaining week politically. As usual in the Doctor Who circles and events that happen to touch on Doctor Who, it's also been a very busy week because have you heard? Yes, well, you know who, RTD has yet again been out there scaremongering. And I'm going to use that word, scaremongering. He's very good at it. And he also seems to be convincing an awful lot of people. We're going to be looking at that. Fan rumours and clickbait from certain alleged fans around this WhoTube platform all over the shop. Yeah, that's all it seems to be. We're going to be looking into that a little bit later on as well, because the BBC boss has been talking. So let's see what he's got to say about it a little bit later on, shall we? Lots to get on with tonight. Hello to you all. Let's get the guys in. I've got Third Doctor Ian and Paul here as well. What a week it has been in the UK, guys.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, it's been. I can't believe he got away with it. Actually, for a minute there on Monday, I thought, "Oh, he's going." He's that
turd you can't flush, isn't he? Really, he's. You just keep on pulling that chain, and eventually he'll disappear down the pipe with the rest of them, but not yet.
Exactly. Paul is with us, but I'm not sure where he is. But he is. There he is. Hello. Are you there? Can you hear us? Good.
Guess not. He's gone again.
Oh, he's gone again. Well, we'll crack on because I want to say hello to everybody in the chat. It's nice to see you. Oh, listen, thank you so much, everybody. Yes, thank you very much for all the birthday wishes. Yeah, it's good to see you, and thank you for that. Yeah, there's a lot Ian coming into the chat saying happy birthday.
Absolutely, it's lovely, isn't it? Yeah, 21 again. 21 again.
28.
28. I do apologise. I've taken some years off you there, didn't I?
This one's good as well from Lex. Lex is saying to us here, happy birthday, GT. And also a happy 10th birthday to Lex's niece, Phoebe.
Oh, happy birthday, Phoebe.
Happy 10th birthday, Phoebe. I hope you had cake, because I did. It was lovely. Absolutely fabulous. I really enjoyed it. And so thanks to my mum and my sister for my cake today. So thank you everybody for the birthday wishes. Very much appreciated. Cracking. Great to see you all with us. We've got a lot to get through. And I'm looking at all the chats here. And Heretic is saying, how are you all lovely people? Nice to see you, mate. How are you? Thank you very much. And Davey starting the show off by saying, evening, lads. I kept myself away from all that watching my new Thunderbirds Blu-ray and watching series 2 and 3 of The Avengers.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Chat's already buzzing, isn't it? Absolutely. We've got 140 people watching already. That's going up all the time. And I'm sure Kirsty and the other fantastic mods will remind everybody, but hit that like button and check you're subscribed and everything else.
Exactly.
That's all important, isn't it?
Exactly. Mark Greaves saying, what's he scaremongering about? Is he going to do another Doctor Who? That's partly it. Wait till you see it. Wait till we come to that. We're going to come to that later on. Again, thank you for all the birthday wishes. Ito Gishi, nice to see you. Thank you so much for that. Thank you very much. Oh, it's great to see you all. And thanks for joining me on this, my special 28th.
Blimey, you're popular. You're popular, you.
Oh, I wish I was. Oh, listen. Thank you, Robert. Thank you. Yes. And Chris is with us as well. Thank you. Oh, lots of you in the chat with us already this evening. Paul's back with us here as well. Cara, the Tolkien Nerd's there too. Hiya. Thank you, Marie UK. Legion of James is, yes, I did have cake. Yes, it was lovely. In the devotions as well. And Woodhouse 122, that lovely picture of Rory. Great to see you. And thank you very much for this from Matt Enspiel for a super chat, wishing you a fantastic birthday, JT. Thank you very much, darling. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.
I just heard while I was sorting out my technical difficulties, I was stuck in the time vortex again, the time eddy. Belated 28th birthday as well. Yeah, fantastic.
Thank you very much. That is, of course, the official. That's the official age on the biography, 28. Do you want to know the real one?
Go on then.
28.
Yeah.
Another super chat from John Keeley. Thank you, John. How are you? Good evening, gentlemen. Hope all are well. HBO is making its way over here very soon, so they possibly could be doing a Disney streaming replacement. Yes, I have heard some stuff about HBO this week. They are looking for some sort of science fiction flagship drama to take on, I would say, more Star Trek, to be quite honest, than Doctor Who. But let's keep our ears to the ground, everybody. Let's see what's coming up, because something is definitely going on there. And don't forget, if you get to hear, even if you think I've heard, like you all do, you can get in touch with us, whosviews1@gmail.com. Get that email sent just in case something slips me by. Madam Matron, yes. Because you never know. As usual, though, I do want to say a huge thank you to everybody that's been getting in touch this week, especially to Mike Bakerfrost, to Problem Being, to Bill Lowry, to Rory Stanage, to Reese Woolridge, to Michael Gorman, to Stephen Rogerson, to Eddie Day Riley, to John Mason, to Michael Sheridan, to Stephen and Jane Evans, and to Steve, aka Dalek Shalom. Now, Dalek Shalom sent me this.
Oh, that's lovely.
It's one of these little weeble wobbly ones that you got from the shop now. So it sort of wobbles around. So thank you for that. Very appropriate from a Dalek Shalom, isn't it? Hello. So I've got that there. But he also sent me this. Now this, before you start sending in letters and emails, yes, this is a USB stick. Now, even I know how to use these things. It's everything else that tends to get to me, right? But I know how to use this. And thank you, Dalek Shalom, because guys, on this USB stick is the complete story, or the complete series, of Tom Baker's Hound of the Baskervilles that we were talking about a few weeks ago.
Wow, great.
Wow.
And I was thinking, he said, dropping it. I was thinking.
You've lost it now. You'll never find it again.
There it is. There it is there. Can you see that? There it is there. Right. So I was thinking I can get this round all of us and we can do a review, can't we?
Yeah.
Can you do my VHS of that? Because you're good of.
What?
That means you would become some kind of streaming service, JT.
Oh, don't! I'll have Ofcom and the license fee people on me and all this sort of stuff, won't I? But I thought, no, wait, when we hook up, we can get that out there. So thank you to Dalek Shalom. We will be doing a review of this at some point this year on Who's Views. Really appreciate it. I haven't watched it yet, guys. I'm very excited to look at it. And thanks to everybody else that got in touch about that and supporting us on that particular one. We are going to do it. We're going to be looking at Tom Baker's Hound of the Baskervilles. At some point, it might take us till Christmas as a Christmas special. Who knows? But we'll get there. You know us. You know us. We get there. I also want to say a huge thank you to Stephen L. Reese, who sent me an email. Yes, he did, didn't you, Stephen? You're here. And it said, it was because of this. He sent us this from RTD's Instagram. Now, here he is here. Here he is bigging up a new TV show called Small Profits. Okay. Now, the first thing I saw on this is look at that. It says on the top there, look, what music is he playing? Featuring trans voices. So what that would be to me is a male choir, RTD, for heaven's sake. It has to push everything, doesn't it? It's always his agenda. But anyway, it says here, Michael Sleep, from RTD, Michael Sleep works in a DIY store, forever waiting for his lost love to come home. But then his father tells him how to grow homunculi. Is that right? Homunculi. I've been trying to say that all day. Little creatures in jars that can see the future and always tell the truth. This is absolutely wonderful, capital letters. It's so unique and bizarre. It's almost visionary. Written and directed by Mackenzie Crick. He's a genius, as with the Detectress and Wurzel Gummidge. It's like he sees beneath the world. To find a scene of the strange and ancient. Plus, it's funny. The most wonderful design. The houses are perfect and the animation is breathtaking. I've never seen better. Wonderful cast. And at last, the lead role for Pierce Quigley. I love that man. He was in QAF 2, which was a very poor sequel to QAF, as the evil supermarket manager. And his brother John used to cut my hair. This is so different and powerful and delicate. All power to the BBC. Yeah, all the usual there. But what Stephen was irritated about, and what he said to me is, it's irritating me. The reason he keeps leeching off other people's successes. He's praising the chap, yet it has to be about him. I've seen so many of his reviews, and they're all about praising with one hand and reminding everyone about him with the other. Any normal person would just praise something, but he has to find a way to link himself into the situation. That's fair enough, isn't it?
Yeah, but he does have that habit, doesn't he? It's all roads have got to lead to RTD ultimately. It's very much look at me, look at me, look at me, I think.
Yeah, well, there's lots more of that coming up. I'll tell you, Paul, in this show.
Well, I mean, certainly I've seen lots of good reviews for that show, and Michael Palin's in it, which is really good, and I think that's a bonus. But I've never seen any of it yet so far. I am tempted to watch it, but it looks quite good. Anyway, so yeah.
I'm not sure where it's broadcast, but if you're interested, you can go and have a look at it. Everybody, you can go and have a look at that. Again, thank you to everybody in the chat for your birthday wishes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What else we got here as well? This one, Digby Strawbridge is giving us a super chat. Thank you. Happy birthday, JT. Thanks for keeping us Doctor Who fans informed with all your grand works. Oh, well, thank you very much. That's very good of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I think the noise that's coming through on the speak, it must be your dog again, Ian. Is the dog having a nightmare?
One. I've got them both in here today, and one's asleep, so he might start dreaming. But Edith is, as I was saying to you before the show, she's pending an operation on her leg for ligaments, and she's uncomfortable, so she's pacing around. But I'm doing some decorating work in here, so there's some plastic down, and of course, naturally, that's where she wants to pace. So you can hear her pacing on the plastic. So I do apologise.
Ian, Edith's a fantastic name for a dog. How did you come about that to choose for the name? Why Edith? It's a great name.
We just like old fashioned. We've had an Alfie and a Fred. Well, Fred was always called Fred. So we had an Alfie and a Fred. That's those two. And we were just driving back, and it was a long drive, so we were mulling over names. We like old traditional ones. We thought Albert and Edith. And at that time, because they're 12 this year, so 12 years ago, I think we'd just had the first Despicable Me film out, and one of the kids in that is Edith.
Right, perfect, lovely, yeah.
Right.
So I think it came from that, to be honest. But yeah.
I want to say hello to my friend Jane. How are you? Hope you're all right. Thanks for joining. Woodhouse122 say no new US streamer will want to touch Doctor Who after the dire Disney Plus figures. That's the big thing we've been saying, isn't it, Woodhouse122? The figures are there, and the industry, of course, can get them like that more so than we can. So why would anybody want to invest millions of dollars into a failing show unless there were major changes? Matt Enspiel saying, ooh, nice one, Dalek Shalom, because of my Dalek and my USB stick. And Domgo is saying, have you not seen it when it comes to this show? It's superb. Oh, well, that's a nice recommendation. No, I haven't seen that at all. Lex Kane is reminding everybody that it's actually the Tom Baker show, Hound of the Baskervilles, from back in '82, is on Daily Motion. There you are. Okay. There you go.
I always think Daily Motion doesn't sound very good, does it, to be honest? It sounds a bit...
I keep thinking it just sounds like a daily breakfast show.
Yeah.
Some dodgy station.
That's not what I was thinking of, JT, but never mind.
All right. John Keeley,
you were in the toilet there, Paul, I think.
I was, yeah. It was the Disney figures that brought them to mind. That was it, yeah.
We've got, thank you for your super chat, John Keeley. Another one from you. Happy 28th birthday to you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm sticking to it for the rest of the time. And Heretic for super chat. Happy birthday, JT. I'll send you the Life on Mars DVDs as a birthday present, as you really need to watch it. Now, this is because in the week, I was telling Heretic, I've never seen Life on Mars, and yet in a couple of weeks' time here on the channel, Third Doctor Ian, Emilio, and our special guest, Golden Age Geek, will be here to tell me all about why I should be looking at it. Because believe it or not, Life on Mars is 20 years old this year. So we're going to be celebrating that in a couple of weeks. It's up there on the show page for you now if you want to set a reminder, but that's coming up. So thank you for that, Heretic. DVDs as well. Gosh, how wonderful. What's this from Gary Lee? Gary Lee's there, everybody. Thanks for the shout out the other week. I couldn't thank you live as ... I had to go out to dinner. Well, outrageous.
Outrageous.
How dare you have a life, Gary? That's ridiculous.
How could he eat? Yeah. That's disgusting.
Yeah. How could he go out? Outrageous. Mark Greaves, thank you for your super chat. Paul, JT is only 28. He doesn't know what VHS is. That's very true. That's very true.
I know. I should have known, but I said that. Sorry, Mark. Yeah.
Very, very, very true. I don't know what that is. You'll have to explain to me. I'll get Emilio to explain what VHS is to me. Kev Gresham is saying to us, Small Profits, watch the first episode and it's pretty good so far. Brilliant. Okay. Where is it, Kev? Tell everybody in the chat where it is. So that if you're interested, you can go and see it. And Darren Reed is also saying Small Profits is what the Gower era made for the BBC. Very good. Oh, that is very, very good. Very good. They're so clever, our viewers, aren't they? Doc Martin's with us saying, I hope the homunculi doesn't come from Peking.
Yeah, very good point. Yeah.
Excellent point. That's quite scary, actually, isn't it? Ooh, Bill Lowry's saying the same point there as well. Oh, my God. We've got to be careful with that, aren't we? Hello, Sliver Wolf. Nice to see you. Thank you very much. And Legion of James saying to us, I didn't like Mackenzie Crook's Wurzel Gummidge. Terrible. There is only one Wurzel, and we all know who that is. The legend himself, Mr. Pertwee. Yeah, it's very difficult when you grew up with John's Wurzel, which is iconic. And then another one's come across. I did watch one episode and thought it was okay. I thought it was all right, but it didn't have, possibly because I'm nearly 30, but it didn't have the same magic, as John's Wurzel did, and it certainly didn't have the characterization that only John could really do. So I'm probably looking at it through older and wiser eyes, to be honest.
I think also as well, what I found about the original was, although it was a family show, it was quite dark and quite an edge to it. I quite liked that as well.
Yes. Yeah.
I thought Mackenzie Crook's Detectorists was very good. I really enjoyed that. And if it's in a similar style to that, then that's not bad. So I'll certainly check it out.
And there we are from Stephen O'Neill there. Small Profits is on BBC Two on Monday nights, and all episodes have already dropped on the BBC iPlayer. Oh, then I can't watch it unless I go somewhere, and I'm not going out on a Monday night. Sorry. I'll have to wait until I've got access to it. And thanks, Stephen. And Ian and Dalby saying, hello, everybody, and love to Ian's dog.
Thank you, Ian.
We're getting more and more like Blue Peter every week on this stuff. Life on Mars says, MDB18468 is classic sci-fi. I can't wait. Is it sci-fi as well? Is it? I thought, is it? Oh, I'm learning something about every.
Isn't it? A little, yeah.
I have no idea because I was always out working or.
It's got a bit of a sci-fi concept to it. It gets more like that, almost fantasy element when it gets to the back end of Ashes to Ashes, the sequel. I think initially they were planning 5 or 6 series of Life on Mars and then just ended at 2, which was quite a shock.
Is that because Thingy wanted to leave, Ian? John Tim?
I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. So it was quite a breakout show for him. I knew he'd been in other stuff as well, but it really did. It was a big hitter for him. It was very popular at the time.
There's one bit I've not seen the whole series. I've seen bits, but there's one clip I've seen of it where it makes me laugh. It's like it's a kind of Campbellwick Green kind of puppet bit in it, which is hilarious.
Really?
Yeah. Very funny.
I like the sound of that. That's good.
It's a violent Campbellwick Green. It's hilarious, but yeah.
I don't know about that.
It really, really, really is good.
Yeah,
it really is.
Well, from one thing that's popular to another, Comic-Con. Now, Comic-Con has become quite big, of course, here in the UK over the last 10 years, to the point that there is the big, massive branded one that everybody knows, but there are also spin-offs. There are also spin-offs of it, smaller ones that go under the label Comic-Con all over the country. And I want to say a big shout out for Carlisle Comic-Con, because our friends Neil Cole from the the Science Fiction Museum in Allendale and Keith Barnfather are going to be there on Saturday, the 28th of March at the Richard Rose Central Academy. Hurrah, I say. So I can't wait to go see Neil, who'll be bringing some of the props, some of the more manageable ones from the museum, I would imagine. And Keith, just to point out as well, is also taking some product from 40 years now of real-time pictures, including, I would imagine, his exhibition DVDs that I rant about a lot here. Well, he better be, because he's bringing the ones I need as well, aren't you, Keith? Yeah. So yeah, but that's it. I'm going to be popping along there to see them as well. So if you're there at the same time, we come and say hello. If you're anywhere near the Carlisle area, come and see Keith and Neil at the Comic Con. There you go. Looking forward to it. Take some Grotsits as well, because you'll look through all Keith's stuff and you go, well, I'll have that, because he did all the Mythmakers, of course, guys, didn't he?
Yeah. I've got the exhibition ones. I might get the American one soon, I think.
Oh, you've got to. You've got to. Yeah, because I was ill, I haven't caught up with a couple of them. So I messaged him the other day saying, can you bring them up with you? So I'm going to go and see them. Like, yes, of course. So that's fab. I can't wait to get my grubby little protuberances on those, because it's great. They're great, aren't they? They're great little documentaries.
Lovely, yeah.
Really recommend them. Here's something else that cropped up on social media this week. You may have seen this, but it certainly kept us entertained in the Who's Views chat. It was this little picture here of Michael Grade looking bored out of his skull, having to promote Doctor Who with Peter Davison back in 1985, possibly 86. Look at that, everybody. Now, this I've never seen this picture before, so this was fantastic to get this on social media. But in case you don't know, you can't tell, this is now infamous, because this is the time that Michael Grade, following his axing, which became the hiatus of 1985 of Doctor Who, flew over to America to promote Doctor Who. Yes. He actually talks about this in his interview with Matthew Sweet on the season 22 collection Blu-ray. Okay. But there he is. Now, I hadn't realized, guys, that Peter had been probably forced by a certain producer to wear the costume. So this is him after he's left Doctor Who. His Doctor is still showing, of course, in America at this point. But behind him there, you can see the beautiful artwork of the Exhibition USA tour as painted by Andrew Skilleter. But look at Grade's face. He's just so happy
like,
to be
I
there.
don't want to be there. I thought I'd cancelled this shit.
Pictures can tell 1,000 words, can't they? That, someone should send him a copy of that going, here's a happy memory for you, Mr. Grade. There you go.
The other memory connected to that, remember that time when he met Colin Baker in the States with Richard Dimbleby in a car or something. They went to a club together. He met them in the club and he sees Colin Baker there. And how awkward that must have been. Apparently his wife had asked him, when are they making more Doctor Who, Colin? He said, well, after your husband. I think it's brilliant. It's a great story. Yeah.
Well, he has confirmed, of course, since in the many years since, that he axed it because he just didn't like science fiction. He didn't like Doctor Who. And I would argue to him to this very day, he always goes on about it was cheap, it was rubbish, it didn't have any views. It was getting 7 to 9 million viewers per episode. Yeah. And if it was cheap, why didn't you put more money into it, Mr. Gray?
Exactly.
Heaven's sake. Sliver Wolf is saying to his board, I think he looks asleep in it. Adrian James has joined us. Hello, Adrian. Domgo was asking if it's 85, why is Peter there? Because Peter's episodes were still showing in the States there. Colin hadn't quite got there yet. But this was after the now famous hiatus, cancellation into hiatus. Lex is pointing out for a super chat that Matt Smith is coming to Liverpool Comic Con. He is coming to Liverpool Comic Con with Karen Gillan. £90, around about £90 for an autograph, everybody. £90 plus. It's the same one. They're at the same dates that William Shatner is also there. So if that's your bag, go and look it up. Pay for your tickets. Pay to get there. Pay to stay there. And then pay for the squiggle.
Yeah, it's a lot of money just getting there. Yeah,
it is. It is. I mean, if you're local to Liverpool, it's fantastic. You can get on the bus or the train and get down there, and fantastic. But a lot of people will be trying, and of course, it could be. Well, it is. I think Mr. Shatner's gone on record saying this is his last public appearance in the United Kingdom. So even I'm tempted just for the Shatner.
I wonder how much he'll be charging out of interest.
He's actually about the same price as Callan Gillan. It's £100.
Wow.
And that's for photographs and all that sort of stuff as well. Darren Reed is saying, let's launch a caption competition. That takes me back. Doctor Who Weekly. Do you remember that, guys?
Oh, yeah.
I won a Doctor Who single, the theme music with Tom Baker on the cover, from the 1980 season. I won one from one of my captions. It's upstairs. It's treasured.
What was that? Did you say there was one that stuck in my mind? Somebody, there was the Dalek from Dark Davies of Earth. That's the last time I have a blind date with a seed of something. That
wasn't me. I'm not taking the credit.
That wasn't you. It should have been you.
Yeah. Hi, Wrestling Daniel. How are you, mate? Nice to see you. Gray looks as though he's been awake in that picture. Well, he had, really. He's just been told through the call, doesn't he? He really does. And Meddling Monk is saying, looks to me like he's watching a shooty episode. Where is he when you need him, quite frankly?
I wonder what Grade thinks of that. I'd love to know what Grade thought of the last 2 years.
He's not going to watch that stuff, is he? Come on, he's too busy being theatre and all that sort of stuff again, isn't he? Our John, let's pick him up off the floor. 90 bloody quid. Yeah, there's some of the kids as well from Stranger Things that are charging the same price as Mr. Shatner. What a bloody cheek. What a bloody cheek. Well, you're dealing with the legends of science fiction, and where are you? Way down there at the moment, thank you very much. You're not anywhere near him. Goodness me. Bill Harry is saying Matt Smith is £115 and Karen Gillan is £94.50. Yes, 9450.
Well, I get change of 100 quid from Karen at least. That's good. Yeah. Got change of 100 quid, Karen. No, keep the change. It's fine. Yeah.
The thing is, guys, they get paid to go there as well.
Yeah.
To appear at the thing. So they're doing very well, aren't they? And
what's interesting though, they do, some of them actually say, just make it cash, okay?
Yeah.
Which is a bit dodgy, So
they have their own little money tins, don't they?
They do, but they've got the card machines as well. But they also have the gold to get cash, so they can avoid the tax man. You see, that's what.
Of course.
Allegedly,
yeah. Legion of James, £90 for autographs. The grift is ridiculous. Gone are the days of free autographs and pictures on cameras. Playing the pic. What's that? Praying the pic took properly. Oh, I see. Praying the pic took properly as you waited a few days for them to develop. Those days are long gone. Yeah. They are long gone. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. It was always a worry though when you took them into Boots or wherever, wasn't it? And you were like, "Oh God, did they come out? Did they come out? Did they come out?" And sometimes you get somebody else's. That was always quite interesting. I thought you'd be there with a photograph, wouldn't you? Going,
who's that?
But that was another interesting one that came up from social media, wasn't it, everybody, this week? A picture of Grade bored to death. But this is also understood
that was us watching Shooty's episode as well, wasn't it? That was us.
Yes. We've also got the whole picture of what's it called? Peter Davison's autobiography, and he's mentioned it, I think, on camera too. That he actually said to Michael Gray, basically, why are you cancelling the show? I'm surmising there. And they had that chat. They had this chat about it, and it's just all a bit. Peter reckons it was because not only did he not like the show, he just didn't like Colin. Or it's a big story, isn't it? But they were sharing a plane together, and Peter tells that story. Yes, thank you for your super chat, Lex. On this subject that I don't really want to go into, it's disturbing. A Green Party councillor has grandchildren writing Valentine's Day cards. Yeah, if you're not aware of that one, you can look that one up. We are going to be talking about the Green Party in a few minutes here on Headlines, though, so you can make your own decision about that as well. Yes, but yeah, you're right there. That was more than disturbing. I thought that was horrific. Absolute ridiculous thing for her to do in the name of virtue signaling. Honestly. Not again. I was about to say, not a good week for the BBC. I was going to say, again, not a good week for the BBC this week, because did you hear? It's official. The President of the United States of America is taking the BBC to court. It was all announced this week for a lot of money. Let's put it that way. How the BBC are going to get through that, I don't know. But it is very, very interesting, gentlemen, that an hour or so after that was announced, this was announced from the BBC themselves. BBC is to make hundreds of millions of pounds of cuts.
Yes.
Damn shame.
Yeah, but isn't the timing of that very, very interesting?
Well, they
It
put the
is.
TV license up as well the other week there. They're putting up as of April, which is obviously time with that as well. I'm surprised they're putting up so little compared to what they have to pay Mr. Trump. It's supposed to be £500 a year so they can pay for that, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Goodness, this again, this could have real effects. BBC Studios, as we all know, is the commercial arm for the BBC. They're going to have to stump up some of the money to support the BBC, because without the BBC Studios really can't do much, because most of their material goes on to the BBC. Yes, okay, so they put some of the stuff onto the commercial channels, and I know they're trying to branch into the streaming stuff as well to get their programs onto streaming. And I know they have other interests, but they are going to have, aren't they? BBC Studios are going to have to stump up some of the costs for this, because it's very, very likely that the president's going to win his case. Let's face it. You know,
it's after 10 billion, isn't he? I mean, that's their license fee twice, isn't it? I mean, what do they normally get for the license fee? 5 or 6 billion?
No, nowhere near that.
There'll be a year just having the test car, which will be a joy. That'll be kind of
The ratings will go, won't they?
Yeah, they'll go through the roof. Yeah. The BBC is making cuts amounting to about 10% of its costs in the face of substantial financial pressures, according to bbc.co.uk. The broadcaster said the savings needed to be made over the next 3 years. A spokesman declined to put a figure on the amount, but it's expected to be hundreds of millions of pounds. The BBC's total public service spending last year was more than 4 billion. No details have yet been given about any programmes or services that will be affected. So there's a key word. It's going to affect programmes and services. The new cuts come on top of about £150 million that must still be found by March 2028 as part of an existing savings programme. Outgoing Director General Davies, who leaves the BBC in April, told staff about the savings on Thursday. A BBC spokesman added, over the last 3 years, we have delivered more than £500 million worth of savings, much of which we've been able to reinvest in our output across the media. In a rapidly changing media market, we continue to face substantial financial pressures. As a result, we expect to make further savings over the next 3 years of around 10% of our costs. This is about the BBC becoming more productive and prioritising our offer to audiences to ensure we're providing the best value for money both now and into the future. The announcement comes as the BBC negotiates with the government about its future and that of the licence fee ahead of the renewal of its Royal Charter at the end of 2027. The government recently launched a consultation, which I know some of our Who viewers have taken part in, to ask the public for their views about the future of the BBC and how it should be funded. The corporation gets most of its income from the licence fee, but the number of TV licences sold has been declining in recent years. Now, that's very polite. And with it being the BBC, they're not going to put the number on it, but we know it's over 2 million households have cancelled their licence fee. The BBC has said it accepts that the licence fee needs reform. I'm surprised they're allowed to say that word. And that any changes must, quote, safeguard the BBC as a universal public broadcaster. There you go, guys. What do you make of that?
Can I say, you said it was £500 million, you said they might have saved in cuts. Are they going to ask Donald for a payment plan or something and just pay up what they can when they can?
Yeah, 20 quid a month.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
I would imagine he could ban, because, you know, people that are derogatory to the United States or the president on social media get banned from entering the country now. A large swath of the BBC employees could be banned from entering America, which would make it very, very difficult to whatever shape they're left in to operate over there. It could be unbelievable. It could be what we all want, really. It could force the BBC to go down that subscription route via iPlayer as the only method of its continued survival, and then it would have to pander to the public that it's supposed to serve, because if it doesn't, it's dead.
Yeah, I would hate to think that the president of the United States of America would do that, but to be quite honest, he probably would, wouldn't he? He'd say, right, I don't want any BBC staff anywhere. I mean, you know, I was watching recently. Oh God, what's the film with Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep about the Nixon affair in Vietnam? The Post, about the Washington Post. And there's a point there where the Nixon character, because it's based on Nixon, of course, says, I don't want anybody from the Post in the White House ever again. And it just immediately reminded me of Trump. Yeah. Get out. You're not allowed in here ever again. It would be great for people like GB News, because they'd get in there, wouldn't they? And they, you know, that with their ratings going up and up and up all the time now, they'd love it. Mark Greaves, thank you for your super chat. Billy Bob Thornton is the best for autographs. Doesn't charge or ever refuse a picture with fans. As he put it, those people put my kids through college. It's an honor to meet them. Well, good for Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah.
He's from Stranger Things, isn't he?
Think so, yeah.
Yeah. Good for him. That's nice to know, Mark. That's how it used to be, of course, in our days, where they just were so happy because they were getting paid work because they were actors. It's a lot more now, isn't it? But Mark, thank you for sharing that. It's nice to know. And good for Billy Bob Thornton. Much respect to you, man, my friend. We've got Domgo saying, I hope Trump rinses the BBC silly. Something tells me that's going to happen.
I think to teach him a lesson, I hope he does as well. But I do think that Trump's overreaction to the comedians taking the mickey out of him was a bit much. I think you have to let that wash over you. But certainly what the BBC did is reprehensible. It really is. They should never have done something like that so deliberately to make it look like someone was inciting violence, which he wasn't, you know. So yeah.
But it makes you wonder how many times. It makes you wonder how often they've done it before, though, doesn't it? They just got caught this time.
Yeah. It does actually. It makes you think that. I mean, this is the problem we've got now. The BBC is full of far left alleged activists. It's shocking. There's no balance there anymore. Nobody goes in to just do a job. They go in with an opinion now as well, which never really happened in the BBC. Well, it certainly didn't get onto screen if they did. And they didn't allow their personal biases go into the news stories or programming or anything like that. And we know for a fact that's happened all the time now. They get away with it all the time. Hello to Tim Kintz. It's nice to see you. How are you? And he's saying about that picture, the awkward moment when you get a stranger's photos processed, but they're also with Colin Baker. Michael Gray wouldn't have liked that much, really. Funky is saying one thing the BBC could do is cut all those new YouTube channels. As we've reported here on headlines over the last few weeks, the BBC in the UK is launching 50 brand new YouTube channels. Now, part of the reason for that, I think, as the pessimist I am, is simply to get the revenue outside the UK. Because you'll get advert after advert after advert after advert there, and that will make money for them. And it could build up. If thousands and thousands of people, guys, start watching the BBC's output on 50 channels out of the UK, that's going to be a heavy amount of revenue coming in for them.
Donald should make his Patreon channel go straight to his bank account. That saves cut on the middleman. That saves time. Yeah.
Let's face it, the BBC, as we've said before, but the BBC are in doggy doo-doo. Yeah, and I can't see any way they can get out of it. They've really, really annoyed, he says, being polite, the president of the United States of America, whether or not they like him having that title or not, he is. And you've got to play the game with him. It's as simple as that. You've got to nod when you're supposed to, question your questionings the right way, but you don't try and discredit him because he has the power to come after you, as the BBC are now finding out. Honestly. Goodness me. Reviews, rants and religion. Nice to see you. The BBC will be saved by using our tax money. That's the other thing. I was saying this the other day. Will the government chip in?
Yeah.
In which case, the BBC is being paid for twice license fee public money and taxpayer money. And that some of us don't pay for the BBC for one of these very reasons. So we'll end up paying to get them out of bloody court.
Get ready for more repeats.
I think that would probably lead
to watch it. Sorry, go on.
It's all right. I think that might lead to civil disobedience, quite frankly. I mean, I'm not advocating that, obviously, but it's things like that that trigger things like that. It would be absolutely...
Just be careful. Someone re-edit this, Ian. Be careful what you say.
Yeah, well, especially if it's on the BBC, it will probably say there should be, it's things like that, using public money to pay for at the moment, alleged crimes, effectively, of a major broadcaster. And they did doctor it. It wasn't an accident. They did doctor it. Falsifying evidence like that. It's shocking. But using public money to cover for it, no, I think there'd be a lot of people with a lot of things to say about that.
They've really got to start panicking about how they're going to cover this. Digby's saying to Donald Trump's quest for revenge spares British TV viewers more unwatchable propaganda. Shocker. And Domgo is saying apparently just to fight the case will cost the BBC $150 million. Again, paid for by the taxpayer of the United Kingdom. We should not be held to account for that at all. It's their problem. Let the staff pay for it or something. So there must be another way. We shouldn't have to...
They should have insurance, shouldn't they? Legal cover. They should have legal expenses cover. How much that would be, I don't know.
For alleged lying, though?
Maybe they should do a telethon to raise the money. You know.
Dig up Terry Wogan.
Yeah.
The social media backlash to this news was incredible. There are so many people out there who are saying, good,
Yeah.
close it down. Hashtag defund the BBC, all the stuff that we would normally say. Sliver Wolf is saying to us, they put on the end of Gladiators a thank you to all the viewers at the end of it. Oh, yeah. All right. Okay. It means nothing, does it? It means nothing. Julianne, you're very naughty, saying, should we send Trump a thank you card? Anyone else thinking bye-bye Christmas special? Funky saying for a super chat. Not that I was suggesting anything at all.
It's just the excuse they need, isn't it? Let's be honest. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. I'm thinking if this is the perfect time to do it, you can just say, oh my God, BBC Studios have got to stump up a lot of this money. We're on our own doing this. What shows can we just put on hold for the time being? And another super chat here from Marie UK. Hello, lovely. Love or hate Trump, he's a man of his word. Well, yeah, that's
Most of the time, allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. Hello, Hugh Janus. Oh, did you hear that thump? That was Kirsty falling off the chair, laughing there, loving that. Hugh Janus is saying to us, BBC is cutting corners to build up cash for a court settlement for the Donald. I can't see any way how they're going to get out of this, Hugh Janus. Can you? There's no way they're going to get out of this one now. And Hartnell's Ghost, hello to you. Re-BBC cuts. Why are there four R1 channels? Who listens? Well, there's not going to be for much longer, let's face it. Yeah, they're going to have to look at this. And another point here, Hartnell's Ghost, from Rory Neal. The BBC will shut the local BBC studios, I'm guessing. Places like the studios in Tunbridge Wells will go. This is interesting, Rory, because I don't know if you know this, but this discussion about local studios has been going on for years now, absolutely years, about closing them all down. And I think some of them, they did. And they kept main bases, didn't they? So I don't know. Again, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Yeah. I can't see it. Guys, I can't see any way out for the BBC at this point.
No. I don't want them to have a way out. I want them to face the music and absolutely be damaged by it badly.
Hello, Squawk. How are you? Trump is not going to win. He's suing them for $10 billion for one bad edit that he insists hurt his feelings. He's a global joke who's outlived his usefulness to those that protect him. Oh, that's politics for you, I suppose.
If it was as simple as that, you know, he was not hurt his feelings. He's quite a canny man, really, regardless of what you think of him. And he's trying to prove a point here because they shouldn't be doing it, really. But I tend to agree the fact he might not do it based on their own problems in the States with a certain file that's been redacted. But we'll say no more about that.
No, we better not.
Yeah,
better not.
Yeah.
But yes, we've got all that there. So thank you for that, everybody. What else we got? Yeah, Stephen O'Neill saying to us, $5 billion is about 3.6 billion. He's suing the BBC for. Oh, there was a glitch there. What happened there? I don't know. For the year ending March 2025, the BBC reported a total income of roughly 5.8 billion. Exactly. Yes. Anyway, so we'll be all looking forward to seeing what's happening there. But let's see. MD B18468. What happens if the BBC win the court case? Nothing. They'll just carry on dictating to the rest of us, and we'll never hear the end of it.
And if they win the case, well, he have to pay them $5 billion, and then we get a rebate of our TV license. That'd be quite nice. Yeah.
That would be lovely, wouldn't it? Yeah.
And it can be backdated to 20 years ago. Be quite nice as well.
I mean, I don't think they would win it because they've apologised to him for doing it.
Yeah.
So that's an acceptance of liability. And they did do it, and it wasn't an accident. You know, you don't accidentally cut out 50-odd minutes of an interview and put it perfectly together without any seeming jump in the edit that makes people think he was advocating violence. And everything that happened as the repercussions from that were quite significant. He was arrested, remember? There was a lot of people put in prison saying that he'd done that. And it's more than just what you could call a dodgy edit. There were huge implications from it. Yeah. And I think the BBC have to face the music for playing a part in that. Just as we would if we did something like that on such a public stage. It's defamation, it's libel, allegedly. And we'd have no leg to stand on if we'd done it personally to somebody else. So, you know.
Another piece of good news here from Fafty Head. Apparently the 4 leads from the In-Betweeners did an event and wouldn't agree to charging fans for autographs. They appreciated the fans for coming and wanted to give something back. That is fantastic. I like it when I hear stories. I don't hear enough of them, Fafty Head, but thank you for the 2 bits of information we've had this evening. And yeah, good news. And Domgo is saying corporations in need is what we need. That'll be a telephone worth missing, wouldn't it? Oh, goodness me. Goodness. Can you imagine that one?
Maybe they should do a single as well, you know.
Well, it'd be led by a drag queen, wouldn't it? And it'd be featuring other drag queens, and there'd be an element on drag in there, and some programs about drag queens as well, probably.
I'm expecting a lot of them to turn up on the YouTube channels. Look like like that insane lunatic Tia Coffey, who's does the Doctor Who ones. I've recently cropped up on some advert for the BBC that somebody sent me. You know.
Oh yeah, I think I saw that as well. Yeah.
And there he is in there. Unbelievable. Yeah. All right, well, that's interesting. We're going to keep an eye, of course, on what's going to be happening with the BBC through this very interesting time for them. And if it does indeed have an effect on any future production of Doctor Who, because let's face it, Doctor Who is not a cheap show to produce. To get the quality they need these days, they do have to have significant investment. I want to talk about this chap now. Okay, so this is, as you can see, Christopher Eccleston looking really happy on this picture. Yeah. Yes, of course. He's always going to have Doctor Who following him around now, whether he likes it or not. I think these days, guys, he actually does quite like it because he knows he can make money from it.
Yeah.
You know, since he had that book out. But this came about this week from the Radio Times. Doctor Who icon, I hate that word, it's used a lot these days, Christopher Eccleston criticizes current lack of regional and working class actors such as himself and Jodie Whittaker. Class is the last area that we can't talk about in this country. I'm not sure that's exactly true after this week we've just had, to be quite honest, here in the UK. I'm not sure it is. But I seem to remember Christopher Eccleston banging on about this before he even got Doctor Who 20 years ago. Do you?
Yeah.
Well, it's still happening. Have a look at this. Doctor Who legend, there's another word I don't like because it's used far too often, Christopher Eccleston has said there is absolutely no way he would get into drama school now, as he brings attention to the declining amount of working class youngsters taking up drama. In a new Radio 4 programme, Drama in Schools, An Unfolding Tragedy, Eccleston speaks about his invaluable experiences studying drama and some of the reasons why working class youngsters today do not have the same opportunities. From 2010, then Education Secretary Michael Gove introduced education reforms, including the English, I can't say that, baccalaureate, is it?
Baccalaureate, I think, isn't it? Baccalaureate. Yeah.
Which deprioritized art subjects. Since then, Eccleston pointed out during an interview with The Times, the take-up in GCSE and A-level drama has halved. It's something the actor explores in the Radio 4 programme, in which he references his fellow Doctor Who star Jodie Whittaker, who he starred alongside in Antigone at the National Theatre, by saying, she's from Huddersfield, I'm from Salford, where are those two in the current climate going to come from? Eccleston added to The Times, class is the last area that we can't talk about in this country. I think we need to say we've got enough public school, private school, Oxbridge actors. We've got more than enough. I'd like to hear more regional accents. Eccleston added, now the 2025 curriculum review is removing the English. Oh, I've read that, haven't I? No, now the 2025 curriculum review is removing the English, whatever that is, with the idea that being subjects like drama are given greater importance, although it won't take effect until 2028. While Eccleston said the review is great news, he argued that multiple generations will have missed out to the access to drama that he was afforded. In his view, the focus on prioritizing drama in schools again isn't about finding the next Oscar-winning actor, but turning out well-rounded people who benefit from everything that studying drama has to offer. Eccleston was born to working-class parents in Salford, who were supportive of his pursuit of a career in acting. After receiving a discretionary grant by Salford City Council, he was able to attend the Central School of Speech and Drama in London. He's since gone on to take on roles in Let Him Have It, Cracker, Shallow Grave, and Our Friends in the North, and of course, in 2005, starred as the Ninth Doctor in Doctor Who, forging a new path for the Time Lord. Following his role in Doctor Who, he also starred in The Accused, The Leftovers, The A Word, and even appeared in the MCU in Thor: The Dark World. Outside of his work on TV and film, Eccleston is an accomplished stage actor. And fighting for working class actors is not new for him. In 2018, Eccleston told Radio Times, "People say I'm obsessed with class, but the whole country is obsessed by class. It's like it exists, but you're not supposed to mention it." He added of class snobbery, "I think it exists. I think Gary Oldman is as fine an actor as Daniel Day-Lewis, but Gary is not double-barreled. You might say Daniel has made better choices, but Gary Oldman's Oscar was massive to people from my background." He went on to say, "My hackles always rise when I go to the National Theatre and the RSC because I just see a sea of white faces. And there are far more white males in our company now than there are people of colour or women. So yes, this place has got to have a revolution. No more English heritage. It's got to finish."
Can I say something? I think he's right about the fact there's not a lot of drama in schools. I think that's a really important thing to have drama because it's about interaction and social activity with other people and things like that. So it's not just about being a lovey when you do drama. But he's had a chip on his shoulder for a very long time about working class things. And it goes in swings and roundabouts. In the fifth, before I look back in anger when John Osborne in the 50s, the kitchen sink dramas, all that kind of stuff, it was all anyone for tennis kind of stuff. And then they came in and they became the norm. Like Richard Harris and people like that were the norm actors who were really kind of rough and ready and they were kind of working class. And it goes in cycles, you know? It happens all the time. So I don't know what he's moaning about. He had his time, so get on with it, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
I think he needs to shut the chuff up, to be quite honest. He's just another one that's angling it all and then ending up in race, you know, and coming down on things that are English. And I hate that. You know, you listen to the news, for example, or anything like that. The majority of accents on the news are Welsh, it seems, you know. And I know they had the unfortunate one with Hugh Edwards, but there's a lot of Welsh people and Irish and quite a few Scots, to be fair, and everything. It's almost like the English accent, general English accent, isn't liked. Certainly, I know northern accents tend to be a little bit laughed at. And some, I'll admit myself, are very difficult to understand. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
Birmingham, anyone. I'd rather, yeah. But no, I think he's talking shite there.
I was saying something just the other week, wasn't I? That I didn't like this. I don't like all this regional stuff on the BBC. It's the British Broadcasting Corporation. I actually miss the clipped, you know, posh voice, as we used to call it back then. You know, and you look at some of these old things, and now on BBC One, it's Doctor Who. I love all that, you know, all that sort of stuff. And there was a show I was watching recently, and some fella came on, and no disrespect to those of you who live in that part of the world, but I couldn't understand what he was saying because it was, "Oh, why I Biker Grove." You know, I couldn't understand the bloody word. Sorry, Darren Grimes, if you're watching, but I couldn't understand what the hell he was saying there. Because he was,
I saw someone on one thing that made me laugh was I think it was a cartoon out on Channel 4, Film 4, and the movie was the OK Corral, and they said the OK Coral, which made me laugh. But anyway, yeah,
that's terrible. See, that's an age thing for you as well, isn't it? Problem being the same with me personally. I miss the classic BBC RP accent. Bring it back. I don't think there's anything wrong with being British. Why do people in the entertainment and show business history hate Britain? More of that to come in the show, but they do. And this whole thing about being regional, it hasn't worked. I mean, if you look at the case this week, there was a very, very interesting story this week about a particular C word, which apparently you're not allowed to say now. That has affected accents as well. I mean, you were talking, Ian, quite quickly there about Birmingham. You know, I watched something this week, which was a political video from somebody that is not from Birmingham, but lives in Birmingham, so therefore calling himself from Birmingham, didn't understand a bloody word he was saying. Definitely wasn't a Birmingham accent. So what are they supposed to do now? Are they supposed to come on and introduce Top of the Pops or whatever you're going to be introducing? I just don't know.
What's the C word? Is it Coventry? What is it?
No, I'm not going to say it.
Okay.
You're not going to, you know, it's, you know,
Okay.
that fella from Manchester United got in trouble about it.
Of course, so yeah.
Yes. Robert Payne is telling me that baccalaureate is just a posh French-style set of A-levels for those who can't focus on one subject. Oh, okay, thank you. Oh, I didn't know that.
The thing about acting, though, at the moment is there's been a shift between how you can become play an act. You can't play a part anymore. So, for instance, Eccleston will get a part because he's from Manchester originally, or Salford originally, isn't he? So he's from Salford, so he'll get to play people from Salford. But you're not allowed to play another character or do another accent anymore. You can't play characters. You have to be that type of person. They're going for real people casting now, which is a weird kind of thing to do. You can't act anymore. You have to be that person, which is quite sad.
Yeah. Eccleston, another one bites the dust, says Legion of James. Eccleston has always been not far left, but certainly not left. He's been lefter than left in his time, honestly. You know, and that's where how he grew up and people around him, honestly. Yeah, and I've bumped into him in the streets of Manchester twice. Very pleasant, not that approachable, but very pleasant. Dalek Shalom saying to us, you can't have English things in England. You may think that, but we couldn't possibly comment. We've got this from Marie UK. Thank you for your super chat, Marie. So Eccleston is supporting the working class 1 minute, then the next wants us to pay reparations along with Lenny Henry. Exactly. Yes. Again, it's hypocrisy in show business, and certainly the hypocrisy of the far left of show business too. They don't know whether they're coming or going or even been. Name the episode. Can you? Do they? They just don't know what's happening, do they? Really, these people?
No. No. They seem. They just like to. I don't know. I think sometimes they like to say things just so they can stay in the public eye, stay relevant, say something that they think is controversial that will wind people up. They know there's a growing feeling of nationalism with a small n in this country. People are coming out more and more expressing pride in their country, which of course a lot of people, especially on the left, don't like. So they're going to rail against it. And I think he's just doing an extension of that. Is really, you know, he's a fantastic actor. Great. When it comes to political commentary or social commentary, shut the chuff up. Seriously.
One of the things I love about Whose Views, especially headlines on a Sunday night, your big show, is it's open to all opinions. And I love that. And it's great to hear what you're all saying. And Tim Kins is saying to us, Chris really has a point about class, but he's channeling woke about race there. The RSC casting is excruciating. They even did the non-binary Joan of Arc. It's a great
Well, of
point.
course they would. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And they didn't care that people complained. You've got a man now being cast over on Broadway as Anne Boleyn, as we've covered. Yeah, because it fits their narrative. I've mentioned it before, and I don't want to mention it too many times because I don't want to plug his show. But Jinx Monsoon is on the West End in London now playing Judy Garland. Why? Were there not enough women available to play the bloody role? For heaven's sake.
And he looks really creepy in the photographs, I have to say.
Yeah. Terrible. And the publicity for it, terrible. But yeah, it's a good, thank you for that, Timkins. It's a good point. Rick Storm is saying to us, DEI, DIA, DILLIGAF. And Funky is saying there's nothing wrong with the Brummie accent. Yeah, the problem is that this guy didn't have a Brummie accent. I'll leave it to your own imaginations what sort of accent he did, but I couldn't understand the bloody word he was saying. It was very broad, very thick, and I was like, what? He's the mayor or something, for crying out loud. I'm like, yeah, what's going on?
Rory, so you think he should be working the dust, GT, rather than being the mayor?
I don't know what that means.
It should be a dustman instead.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying... no, I'm not going to go there. It's the wrong show. Rory Neal is saying to a Scottish TV cutting the news show from Aberdeen, all will be made in Glasgow. Oh, really? Yeah. You see, they've been doing this. ITV have been doing that for a long time as well. You know, they've been cutting stuff. I mean, they got rid of Border Television in Carlisle and moved it all over to Newcastle. Nowhere near it. It's an hour or so away. Yeah. But gosh. Stephen L. Reese has joined us. Hello, Stephen. I mentioned you at the top of the show. How dare you be late? In the corner. You'll have to go back and watch it. Not yet, Stephen. You'll have to go back later on and see it. And Bill Larry is saying, oi, JT, no, there's nothing wrong with the Geordie accent. There's nothing wrong with the Geordie accent, Bill, but I couldn't understand what he said. I was like, just what? I don't know. I just missed the RP. Because for me, that's the BBC. And I think there's an awful lot of this stuff where, you know, they did say, didn't they? Oh, we've got to do more to reflect the audiences around the BBC. Well, people didn't complain for decades. So why suddenly now?
Yeah.
I don't know. Hello, Marine Boy. How are you? Oh, for an ex-Doctor Who like Davison. For an ex-Doctor Who, somebody like Peter Davison who doesn't talk bollards. Well, yeah. He's one in a million, though, isn't he, Mr. Davison? Really is.
Davison for producer.
That's what I said. We started that last week. Let's keep going. Jason Parker, I'm sorry, but he is a record on repeat. I miss the days or RP on the news. Standards are low. People don't know how to speak now. Eccleston is just boring us with his dreary anti-British crap.
Yeah.
Legion of James, Scottish accents. Now, they vary from town to town, but apparently we're all Glaswegian on TV.
Oh, yeah.
And if you got somebody from the borders, you go, what? A lot of the borders accents can be quite broad. Or the Highlands. Oh, cool. Can you imagine if somebody from the Highlands came on to introduce a show?
Well, Inverness or something like that, yeah, or Aberdeen. But some people from Dundee, that's not far from where I am, they've got a dense accent as well. It's a lovely accent, but dense. Yeah, the accent, not the people. Just to stress that.
I'm saying nothing. I went to Dundee once. We've got here as well. Funky for a super chat. Thank you. Remember the story about plans to dub Eccleston Who episodes abroad so people could understand him? Yeah, I do remember that, actually. Yeah. I remember thinking at the time, that's cruel, because I fell for it. I thought the BBC were really going to do it. Oh, that's really cruel. But there were certain fans. You remember at the time, there were certain fans that were coming across from America, especially various parts of America, saying, we don't understand a thing he's saying.
There's a great Scottish movie by Bill Forsyth, his first movie called That Sinking Feeling. It was before they made Gregory's Girl, and that went to London, and then they dubbed it, and it got released on VHS. I look it up, Google it, and it's dubbed really badly. And because the nature of the comedy is very Scottish, all the accent doesn't, it misses all the beats for the comedy, so it's really flat, really awful. Yeah. Great film, but awful when it was dubbed. Likewise, Gregory's Girl, and then Ramsay Nesbitt. I think they had subtitles with that in London. I think at one point. Yes.
I used to love Ramsay Nesbitt.
Ramsay Nesbitt. Yeah, he was one of the few BBC Scotland productions that broke through into England properly.
Yeah.
Had a good
I think Still Games done it as well now on the back of that, I think, Still Games.
I've never seen that one. I've never seen that one. This is interesting from Farsight. It said Eccleston said he would never have changed his accent like Tom Baker did. That's very true, isn't it, Farsight, as well? And to me, that was a sign of stubbornness, because Christopher Eccleston does a superb performance in the film Elizabeth, about Elizabeth I. Yeah. But he can't play it with a Salford accent because the character he's playing isn't from Salford. Yeah. So it was an interesting creative decision that he made to play his Doctor with a Salford accent, considering that the Doctor is a Gallifreyan. But he did it deliberately, didn't he, guys? He did it deliberately to get away from all the RP of his 8 predecessors.
Yeah.
So again, I get what you're saying.
I mean, would you say Sylvester used RP? He was rolling his R's left, right, and centre, wasn't he? He didn't, and Capaldi as well. Really,
Yeah, I suppose he wasn't, but certainly the first 6 were. Yeah, because that's how we did things back then. But
even Colin Baker's from Manchester, isn't he? Originally,
yes, originally,
and he was. I think he's saying that he couldn't have done. An actor with a Manchester accent because it wasn't the done thing. It just wasn't the time to do it. You know what I mean? So, and how amazing it is the fact that Tom's got a beautiful voice and he worked on that, through drama classes, etc., and his own kind of getting used to that kind of voice. And he's got an amazing voice. Imagine Tom when Tom does Liverpudlian. It's hilarious. So if you see him doing Liverpudlian, it's brilliant. Yeah.
Because he doesn't use. I mean, he must have lost an awful lot of his original Liverpool accent simply because he hasn't used it in decades, and that's fair enough. Because in those days, of course, where he was training, you talked a particular way. He did Shakespeare for years. You talk a particular way then to do Shakespeare. Bless. It's different times, I guess. It's different times. I don't know. Hugh Janus for Super Chat is saying that largy transformer over the rainbow. Nope. Yeah. Thank you for that. And Mark Greaves is saying to us, remember the Scottish sketch about the talking lift, unable to understand the Scottish accent?
It is brilliant. Look it up. It's got
very
a show
funny.
called Burniston. It's hilarious, really funny. Yeah.
It's very good. Yeah. I do
My
remember
wife
that.
has the same problem. She phones up to do phone banking. It's hilarious, honestly.
Oh, really? Yeah, because that
It's,
won't be in
yeah.
the UK. Let's face it. Lots of you just loving this particular one. Bill Arias saying that Jodie Whittaker was subtitled in America, where they got lots of what she said wrong because they couldn't understand her. Is that true? Did they really? I didn't know that, Bill.
I could believe that, but I don't know if it's true or not. But I can believe that, certainly. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of you don't like the accent she used. It was her own voice, wasn't it? Apparently.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Right. Okay. A lot of you in the chat don't like the accent she put on for that. Stephen O'Neill's also saying they also wanted to do subtitles for Peter Capaldi's episodes for the American audience. I don't think he was that bad. I don't know.
Neither did I. No.
I thought he was okay, really. What else we got? Oh, so many people in the chat. Thank you very much. I don't know what this is. Marie UK saying, Orit Mara JT Gang Canny. What does that mean? Hello to the Forbidden Man who's joined us as well. And Dongo was saying David Tennant with that stupid Cockney accent. Oh, I don't want to talk about that. What a interesting voice he put on, didn't he? Lex came for a super chat. Do you remember Eccleston's comedy scene in Dead Ringers where his family are Star Trek fans and are mad he is Doctor Who and then goes to Blake Seven? No, I don't remember that one at all. Do you
I don't remember that.
No.
No,
I do remember the Dead Ringer sketch. It was Christmas at the Doctor's house, and they had different incarnations of the Doctor. That was quite funny. Yeah.
Don't know that one either. Don't remember that one. Oh, goodness me. But I've learned something there. I didn't know he'd done that. Was it somebody doing an impression of him, Lex, or was it him?
It'd be an impression, probably. Yeah.
Oh, that didn't go down well then. I tell you. But no, so there he is. That's Mr. Eccleston. Yeah, he's still not happy. Basically.
I don't think he'll ever be happy, will he? Really?
He likes to moan, let's be honest, doesn't he? Yeah.
He does. Professional moaner. Whinger.
He does come across a bit like that, doesn't he, really? It's a shame he's not... It's a shame they're not actually talking about something which is actually more important, like the failure of their beloved Labour Party Prime Minister. The many failures of the Labour Party in a year. It's a shame that him and Vorderman and RTD and everybody else aren't coming out and saying, oops, what are you doing? And holding their beloved people to account. I'd be more interested in hearing them say that rather than going on about something else, which in the big scheme of things, it's going to change anyway, but probably not the way you want it to. Let's face it, we won't go into any more of that. I mentioned RTD there. I'm sorry, everybody. Take a drink. But you're going to have to take more because that's where we're heading to now. Because, yes, they let him out again, everybody. RTD has been out and about in the past week. This time, he was attending the Attitude 101 event. Now, Attitude is a magazine that you would have heard me talking about here on Whose Views before. Attitude was originally a gay man's magazine. It was actually quite fun. It talked to pop stars and celebrities, the odd politician. It talked about same-sex attractive rights. It even targeted some of the stuff at Anthony. It also had, things about fashion, that sort of stuff. But of course, as with everything that brands itself LGB or was aimed at LGB over the last decade, has now been taken over by the TQ cult, of which we know RTD is a major part and is always going on about it. Well, he's been going on about it again. Now, the Attitude 101 event, just to let you know, is Attitude Magazine's, guys, their nominations of the 101 influential figures of the year. 101 of these people. It's not all same-sex attracted. Of course, they have many, many, many transgender type companies or organizations or charities involved in this as well now. So that really shows you where they are based. But something else that shows you where they are based is this from RTD's Instagram again this week. And there he is, photographed with Zach Polanski, who is the alleged leader of the alleged Green Party. As RTD says there, at Attitude Magazine 101 Trailblazers 2026. Amazing to meet Green Party Zach. Whatever you vote, it's astonishing to hear a politician, I'd use that word loosely, speak with such honesty and passion. And lovely to meet at last Clayton Cass-Graham, who's been Mr. Colchester in the Torchwood audios for years. Charlie Kondo also appeared. It was a great day full of love for the community, that's the TQ cult community, and a determination to fight the good fight, that's the TQ cult's alleged fight as well. He copies in there the current BF, the Oliver Cole, and a couple of other people. It comes back there with Russell Tovey, again, giving a little sort of smiley emoji thing. He gets onto everything these days, doesn't he? And then somebody called Darren Stiles said, Zach told me afterwards that you'd remembered him saying he thought Doctor Who had gone downhill a bit lately. Probably the only realistic thing Zach has said in the past year. He was mortified. He said, however, I'd envisaged one day meeting Russell. I wouldn't have chosen it for it to start like that. Ha, ha, ha. Yeah, Zach Polanski was given the Attitude Magazine Trailblazer of the Year award.
He's a scary man, allegedly. Yeah.
No alleged about it. He's off his tits.
Yeah,
He really is. For those of you who are outside the United Kingdom, this man has got himself into position as the leader of the Green Party. He calls himself a gay man, but he also calls himself a queer man. He does have a regular partner, male, so that would make him homosexual. His policies are outrageous, and how anybody could even consider him as a future prime minister and giving him a vote, I personally do not understand. He wants to legalize drug taking in the country. He wants to welcome in more illegal immigrants into our country. He was seen in the last few months down on the beaches in France, helping the illegals to get over to Britain. The man should be arrested. And on top of that, his dress sense is awful as a gay man. He's absolutely terrible. Have you seen his shoes? Really, it's absolutely incredible.
It's quite unusual for gay men not to be snazzy dressers, isn't it? Let's be honest. That's normally a given, to be honest. Yeah.
And of course, he turns up at all the events that are going to get him noticed by the incredibly left wing, the far left, you know, every flag waving thing. Of course, he supports queers for Palestine, not realizing that all of them, if they went over there, well, there's a rooftop picket. You absolute idiots. He's insane. But here's RTD going, oh, look at him. Of course, he wouldn't vote for him. RTD is too up Labour's arse, isn't he? Do you know what I mean?
I mean, legalizing Class A drugs is crazy, isn't it? That's just madness. Because he's asking for trouble there, you know.
There's a lot there. I mean, and yet, I don't know if you saw this, but he was in what used to be a lesbian and gay disco club, which is long-standing. It's very famous. It's called Heaven in London. And I remember my first experience of Heaven, everybody, in the late 80s. When I went there, I was in awe. Freddie Mercury had been there. Kenny Everett had been there. Giants of the 70s had been in there. You know, Her Royal Highness, as was Diana, had been there, believe it or not, for a night out. You know, and I was walking around all these corridors going, oh my God, this is where Freddie was walking, or this is where Kenny could have walked, or any of the pop stars of the day, David Bowie, you know, all these people, you know, I couldn't believe it. It had a fantastic reputation, Heaven. And it still did during our years, you know, in the 90s, the turn of the century. It was basically what went on in Heaven stayed in Heaven. The names I could give you, but I won't. You know, some of them are still not out today. Some of them were. The night I saw Paul O'Grady with Cilla Black, fantastic night, absolutely fantastic. Louise, the pop star, fabulous night. You know, all these things, but it was the place to be. Today, of course, it's been taken over by the TQ cult, and it was very disappointing, the pictures I've seen over the last couple of years, guys, of all these weirdos that are in there now. And Zach Polanski was in there recently, and these kids, and I'm talking young 20-year-olds, fawning over him because they don't understand the politics of what he's saying yet. But because he's queer and because he's ticking that box, has to be supported. I was a little bit sick. Bill Lowry is saying to us here, not just any drug, specifically heroin. Yes.
I don't want to say the H word. That's why I was
Yeah.
using the terminology. I mean,
Yeah. I'm not sure.
I'm
not sure if we can use that or not, but we've said it now. So
yeah.
Gary Lee saying to us, in an enlightened age, there'd be no unhinged far-left activists like Polanski and RCD allowed in their positions of power to demoralize societal cohesion and target kids with subversive ideologies. This is the problem. RCD has a platform, and by God, he's using it. And as you can see from some of the people on the Tube of Who, they believe everything he says and they're following him. You know, back in the day, the BBC would have something to say about that, wouldn't they? They would say, you can't do that. You can't. Can you imagine if any of the original Blue Peter presenters had started talking politics?
Yeah.
Shows how far standards have dropped, doesn't it? But I mean, with Polanski, he'd struggle right now to be Prime Minister because he's not an MP himself. So, I mean, he couldn't be.
That's the irony of it, isn't it?
Yeah, but I do notice not saying positive or negative about any other particular people here, although I think Polanski's an idiot. Whenever you notice on the news or in the press or whatever, whenever they mention Tommy Robinson, they'll say Tommy Robinson, brackets, whose real name is, and they'll give his real name. But with Zach Polanski, they never do. Yes. And they never say Zach Polanski, brackets, whose real name is David Paulden. They never do that. He's just chosen that name to sound more interesting. And it's
the word Polanski that also gets me. Do you remember who Polanski was?
Roman Polanski, the film director, you mean?
Yeah. What he got done for.
Does he know? Does he know that? Does he understand?
Would he care? Would he care?
Oh, probably not.
Well, if he probably took it deliberately because it's quite fashionable to be that way, isn't it? Allegedly.
Certainly he gets coverage on the BBC, doesn't he? Strangely.
Well, I rest my case. Yeah.
Heretic is making me laugh here, but saying, as a non-gay man, I cannot judge other people's dress sense, as mine consists of West Ham shirts and Doctor Who tops. If you want the proof,
I will not comment on West Ham.
If you want the proof of that, you can go and look at the recent chit chat that dropped on Friday, because that is Heretic in there, and he's wearing a West Ham. I didn't say anything. I did too. I'll get off and get changed. No, I'm kidding, Heretic. It was a good show. Thank you for coming on. Yes, Digby is also saying to Zach Polanski, the man who believed he could grow women's breasts through hypnosis.
Did he really? Really?
Yes, it's a failed hypnosis or hypnotizer, or whatever you call it. Yeah. I know.
The man's insane, allegedly.
So the entire party, the Green Party, are off their actual.
There's very little green policy. You think green, you think environmentalists, don't you? But it's very little to do with environment, and it's all to do with political activism, really. And it's very, very, very dangerous, I think.
Yeah. I just don't like him. I don't like him at all. And I was not surprised that Attitude magazine decided to make him the trailblazer of the year, put him on the cover of their magazine. And every day this week, they've been putting more from the photo shoot of him on and on and on and on. Because guess who the Attitude magazine is supporting? Have you looked at his policies? Have you looked at who is in his party? Have you looked at what he's doing with people and communities that do not like you? No, of course you haven't, because you can't be bothered to research. You are hypocrites, the lot of you. And so are all of you clapping seals that go to the Attitude Awards. I just want to point out this from John Paul Barrett, who's saying, hi, John. The Beeb will not win because the case is being held in Florida, which is Trump's own backyard, where he is on first name terms with just about every important judicial figure.
Yeah.
Well, it's true, isn't it? You know, it's true. It's true. That is.
It's just the same way that this government manipulates the judiciary and is on first name terms with all of them and gets whatever verdicts that they want, allegedly. You know, it's amazing how people can get turned around in the legal system very quickly when it's expedient for the government. And then other ones, for example, those people that beat up that police officer and broke her nose at Manchester Airport, still not sentenced. Still not sentenced.
Yeah,
no.
And you make a social media post and you're in prison within 48 hours.
Yeah, 30 odd months banged up, gone.
I've said it again, too much unconscious bias training in the public sector as well as the private sector. Doctor Who 1963, hello mate, how are you? I thought green was about green energy. It should be, shouldn't it? But in reality, they want to loosen the rules, raise taxes and open the borders even more. They have this policy, for those of you outside the UK, which I just cannot comprehend the logic. They have this policy that the millionaires in Britain, including the show business people that are currently kissing his arse, he wants to tax them huge amounts of money because they make, similar to the mayor of New York, quite frankly, they make a lot of money. So he wants to tax them a lot more than they're already paying. And they do pay quite a considerable amount in tax, let's face it. But he wants to push it up. What he doesn't seem to realize, him and his ridiculous party, is if you do that, they're going to leave the United Kingdom and go somewhere else, because they don't have to be in the UK for their work. They will just leave and they'll go somewhere else. So who's taxed then? The normal, common or garden British people like us again. They don't think things through. It's just bull, quite frankly. Richard Brooks is saying to us here, the Green Party remind me of the baddies and the giant robot. Me too.
Yeah, yes.
You see that this week, Richard, on Eden? Did you watch it? And all I could think of, there's that Polanski in drag.
I'd be interested to see what Zach actually meant by he thought Doctor Who was going downhill recently. Because he didn't have the balls to tell Russell it was crap, basically. That's interesting.
I know. Yeah. But as I said, though, Paul, that's the only truthful thing Zach Polanski has said in 2 years.
Yeah.
However, PT Muzak, good to see you. Millionaires and billionaires create wealth in this country. Why can't people see that anymore? Because they pay huge amounts of tax. We've already lost some of our millionaires abroad because of the Labour government. We can't allow too many of them go, because it's going to be us that pick up the tab, the normal person, and we're getting taxed to the hilt on everything now already. It's tough. It's good tough. Hello to Toonami. I have it on very good authority that the Trump BBC lawsuit has been thrown out because the program didn't air in America, and he filed it in Florida, and you can't watch it, the BBC in America. Oh well, we're going to have to keep an eye on it. Toonami, really, and see what happens. Let's have a look. Yes. So as we're saying, that was RTD at the Attitude Awards, where he put this on his Instagram, meeting their alleged trailblazer of the year, Zach Polanski. But that's not all RTD had to say. Oh no, because we know on headlines what he's like, don't we? And he comes out with some absolutely... Anyway, this is the latest thing he came out with from GB News. BBC Doctor Who boss labels reform as the greatest threat to LGBTQ+ community and says they're a terrible danger. In case you're outside the UK and you don't know, Reform is a fairly new political party in the United Kingdom, which has people worried, let's put it that way, because they're doing very, very well. In our system for decades, in fact, forever, I think, certainly in my lifetime, you've gone from either Conservatives to Labour, Labour to Conservatives, Conservatives to Labour, haven't we? Let's face this.
Yeah.
Others have tried it. I remember in the 80s, we had this thing called the SDP. They tried it. They couldn't break through the two-tier party politics. The Liberals, not worth talking about, quite frankly. And you've got the Greens, not worth talking about, really, as well. But this one, Reform, has done something because they are riding high in popularity. And RTD doesn't like it. Let's see what he says, shall we? RTD has described Nigel Farage's Reform UK as undoubtedly the greatest threat facing LGBTQ people in Britain today. The Doctor Who showrunner speaking, this is the thing, it's always branded as Doctor Who, isn't it? Because he's not going to escape it, and therefore as fans, we're not going to either. But the Doctor Who showrunner, speaking at the Attitude 101 launch event on Friday, branded the party a terrible danger approaching our society. The 62-year-old screenwriter told the Press Association that the community is currently under attack and that standing up for LGBT+ rights matters now more than ever. I think we need to fight the fight more than ever, RTD said. I've heard this before somewhere. The writer, allegedly, who brought Doctor Who back to screens in 2005 and created the groundbreaking Queer Folk, has long been recognized as an outspoken champion of LGBTQ plus representation in television. RTD singled out Reform's policies as fundamentally opposed to LGBTQ plus interests. We literally, physically, obviously know we're under attack, and what happens in America comes here. It's on its way, RTD warned. He emphasized the urgency of the moment, calling on the community to mobilize. I think it's more important than ever for all of us to stand up. There is a battle to be fought, and we're fighting it now. These stories that I write come from my heart because I'm a gay man. The writer expressed dismay at witnessing history repeat itself, noting he never expected to see such regression during his lifetime. People wanting to ban books and to ban any mention of us and attacking the trans community, he said, describing the current climate. RTD acknowledged that these concerns occupy his thoughts constantly and fuel his storytelling, not that any of us can tell. These stories just rise up in my heart and soul, he reflected. While hesitant to label himself a campaigner, he made clear his willingness to share his views publicly. I have very strong opinions about it, and I'm very happy for them to be seen, RTD stated. Reform UK rejected RTD's characterization of the party. A spokesman described his comments as disappointing and accused the screenwriter of spreading misleading narratives for personal or political gain. The party insisted it is open to everyone who shares its aims. Reform UK welcomes people from all backgrounds and communities who share our vision for a freer and fairer Britain, the spokesman said. To claim otherwise would be a totally unfair inference and a smear, the statement concluded. So at this point, of course, I'd just like to talk, just remind everybody that Russell does not speak for LGB necessarily. He's speaking for the TQ cult. He seems to overlook the fact that one of the deputy chairs on Reform is a gay man. And then you've got one of the most famous podcasters, presenters, broadcasters of the current time, which is Darren Grimes, who's a councillor now for Reform in an area where they got in one of the elections we've been allowed to have. And there are a lot of same-sex attracted men and women in Reform. So if he was right, if RTD was right, they wouldn't be allowed in the party. I've also identified 2 transgender women that are also as part of Reform. They didn't want named. So anyway, you've got that there. There you go then. He's off again, guys.
Well, the thing is, though, I mean, Reform, if they are doing anything that he's claiming, they're just speaking common sense. They're realizing now that what's been coming out is absolute nonsense, and they're trying to make sure they can say, you know, a woman's a woman, etc., kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's madness.
Reform aren't in power, so they can't be banning anything. They can't be making laws. They can't be changing anything because they are not in power. That's Labour. But interestingly, Labour are banning elections or cancelling elections. Labour are seeming to ban free speech. Labour are wanting to cancel certain social media platforms. They're wanting to access now. There's moves apparently to access encrypted messages on platforms like WhatsApp. You know, this is the kind of things that are threatening society from a political angle, and none of those are coming from Reform. They're coming from Labour, interestingly. But it's always about what Reform are doing, and it's purely because they've got them rattled. You know, it's the equivalent. It's the equivalent in America, isn't it? Because we've always had Labour and Conservative, and they've always had Republican and Democrat. Yeah. And it's the equivalent of a third party coming in to America and polling higher than both of the other two combined. Yeah. And that's what Reform are effectively doing here. And they don't like it because it's their world order that's being threatened. It's their cozy life on the gravy train, if you like, that's being threatened, and they don't like it. And we need more of it, to be quite honest. That entire system needs to be shaken up, and a lot of it needs to be torn down.
It's really obvious that the government are postponing these by-elections in order to stop them getting in. That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah. And
that's what it is.
Yeah.
It purely is. I mean, the Prime Minister mentions them on every bloody speech. He even went to Europe this weekend and talked about Reform, the party. He didn't talk about, well, he did, but not as much about actual policy. Every single interview, it's either about his bloody father as a toolmaker or the danger of reform. And here's RTD listening to this and speaking back about it. And what RTD is talking about there is utter nonsense. Let's just say thank you to Super Chat Funky. Taxi for RTD. Arkham Asylum is missing a patient. It really
It's
is.
ironic that Sakir's dad was a toolmaker, isn't it? That's bizarre.
Certainly made one, didn't he? But I mean, even that's bullshit, isn't it? Because his dad owned the factory at which the tools were made. But Starmer always gave it, especially in the run-up in the election. He was coming out with it all the time. My dad was a tool maker.
Well, he wasn't just to own the company that made the tools.
Yeah, he wasn't on the shop floor running the machines or anything like that. He owned the company, you know, and Starmer tried to make it out that he was a working class person and he was a working class lad. I mean, Labour, how many people in Labour, certainly in the cabinet, are not lawyers, for God's sake? You know, the working class people aren't lawyers.
It's hard to say.
But
getting back to RTD, he described Nigel Farage's Reform UK as undoubtedly, was the word when asked, you know, about this, undoubtedly a greatest threat facing LGBTQ plus people in Britain. He said that the party represented, and quote, terrible danger approaching our society. I think we need to fight the fight more than ever, because he feels that the alleged LGBTQ plus community is under attack. Now, once again, he is absolutely in denial and thinks it's all one big sparkly camp community. It isn't. You've got the TQ cult over there and you've got LGB over here. We are not in any way, shape or form the same. And these people will not get into their heads. The politicians will not get into their heads. And they've all started, or they're all continuing rather, to just assume it's one community. He will not ever, because he goes on about there is no LGB without the TQ. Yes, there bloody is. And he's not representing people at all. And everything that they do, they've created their own problems. These people, these idiots, with trying to enforce people's speech, how they address people. You know, they've tried to enforce homophobic dictates. And thankfully, more and more same-sex attracted men and women are waking up every single day and realizing, what? No, I'm not going to stand with that. And it was gratifying to see a lot of rebellion on the Attitude X account, quite frankly, with people coming up saying, you don't stand for us, especially with the whole thing about Zach as well. Do you not realize what could happen? That was really good. More and more people are waking up. Their policies, said RTD, are against us in every way, shape or form. They are against everything we stand for.
Yeah, what does he expect them to do? What is his definition of attack? What they're going to do to the community? What they're going to do?
Nothing. Yeah. Absolutely nothing. And as John Mason is saying, who was in the chat, there are reform councillors associated with the LGB Alliance. The LGB Alliance was a charity that the TQ cult tried to close down for being transphobic. That was thrown out of court because why shouldn't there be a charity for same-sex attracted men and women dealing with same-sex attracted men and women's issues alone? Why does it have to have the TQ enforced on it? You know, and LGB. And I have to say, the only parties that I am aware of that have met with the LGB Alliance at the moment are the Tories and Reform. I might be wrong. There might be more, but they're the two I definitely know have approached them and talked to them. Labour hasn't. And they've got their own problems. Look at Nadia Whittome, for example, complete lunatic. She identifies apparently as queer. She's a heterosexual woman who this week, actually, guys, told told same-sex attracted men and women, you have to be part of the LGBTQ plus, otherwise you're not wanted. So you see, RTD, it's working the other way as well, isn't it? Yeah. You're absolute hypocrite. RTD is absolutely convinced that they're under attack. That I'm stunned with the nonsense he comes out with, but what I'm concerned about is this is just real scaremongering on his behalf. And then you've got all these idiots that follow him who are supposed to be Doctor Who fans, who are so young and impressionable, they believe it. And that creates the mess we're in now. He is one of the people that I would actually personally say, this is your fault that society is in the mess it is. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In the interest of balance, I do want to put out what Hugh Janus has also put out onto the chat as well. Never mind reform, Rupert is on the move. This is Rupert Lowe, who, of course, has just done a sterling job with an independent study and report on something that we can't mention here because we'll probably get barred. But he has, and that should have been a government priority, which the Labour Party shoved under the carpet and didn't bother with. So Rupert did it himself. And through a crowdfunder, and the British public financed it. And the results have been harrowing. Some of the stuff these women have been saying, and yet the government still won't look at it, you know. But yes, you're right. Rupert Lowe is on the move. His new party's just coming up. It's called Restore UK, I think it is.
I think so, yeah.
Marie UK is bringing it up, saying RTD just wants any excuse to say I'm gay. The problem is, of course, Marie UK, I'm very surprised that he said he was gay, because a lot of them can't say the word gay or same-sex attracted because it's transphobic. You have to say queer, you know.
It's just bizarre because it's like it's just moving the goalposts, isn't it? A word's a word, isn't it? To be honest, it's like why they have to enforce this queer word is bizarre because, like you've said, and I'm aware of this, of being the same generation because I'm 28 as well. Is the fact that when people were, I've got lots of gay friends, our family were gay, and queer was a gay slur.
And still is.
And still, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that they want to adopt something that's so offensive. It's bizarre. And I'm straight. So,
well, it's because, you know, there are so many heterosexuals that want to be part of something and are seeking validation, narcissistic souls like Nadia Whitten in the Labour Party. And if they brand themselves queer, because it's been for some reason, and by whom I don't know, pushed onto LGB, just like the trans issue has been, they feel part of something. But what they've done, I mean, I can't stand it at the moment. We're in the middle of what used to be LGBT History Month. And it's now, of course, LGBTQIA plus History Month. They had nothing to do with it. Absolutely nothing to do with same-sex attracted men and women's achievements in history, especially in the United Kingdom. Nothing to do with it at all. You know, and it annoys me because when you look at it, statistically speaking, a trans woman, i.e. a man, is heterosexual. So what the hell has he done for me? Bugger all, quite frankly. Bugger all. JT says, Heretic, when scaremongering facts get in the way, it's funny how far left people can say what they want, but they want real proof when you argue with them, not that you should provide proof. Exactly. Yeah. You know, there's some wonderful videos out there now with young people who are doing a great job and are going to hopefully have great careers, as long as you don't get cancelled, of reporting. And they're going out and meeting people on all these bloody stupid marches and for Palestine and all this. And they're asking decent, good questions. And eventually, the person that they're chatting to run out of things to say. And then they'll turn around and say, as the penny drops, oh, I'm in the wrong. They'll go, I don't like this line of questioning. Get out of my space. You're bullying me. You're harassing me, blah, blah, blah. And they'll make any excuse for them to go away. It's strange, all this, isn't it?
They don't like evidence, do they? That's the thing.
No. When they're proven wrong, they don't like it. Stephen Braddock saying to us, oh, look, he's got a Thunderbird 1 there. Oh, Stephen, that's brilliant. He's celebrating the Thunderbird box set this week, of course, Stephen. Reform are just talking common sense, not banning social media and free speech. Rick Storm is saying Restore is on the way. And Stephen O'Neill saying to us, if Reform win the next general election, it will be the first time a third party has won an election since Labour did in the 1920s when they replaced the Liberals. Wow. You see, this is the thing, you know, because I'm quite interested in politics, as you're all aware, I'm actually quite interested about what would happen to the whole of the British political setup if another party wins. You know, would it result in a hung parliament? Would it result in a clear majority? What would happen to the two that have held power for decades? What would happen to them? How would they respond to a win? I'm quite interested in that side of stuff because I'm sick and tired of the backwards and forwards, to be honest.
Well, the way the Tories keep leaving the Tory party to go to Reform, it'll just be a quick crossover and then they'll get in. That'll be
Yeah. Yeah, Marie UK, Restore has had thousands of people signing up overnight. The fact that it's brilliant that in our democracy, you can have these alternative parties coming along now, even though, as Ian is mentioning there, our current government it looks like our current government is trying to shut them out by cancelling our elections, our local elections, which we are democratically duty bound and entitled to have.
And they've even been doing that in Question Time as well. I don't know if you have caught any Question Time recently, but Fiona Bruce allegedly is very bad at kind of, let's forget about what we've just talked about. Let's talk about reforms. What have you done and blah, blah, blah. Can we compare you to whatever we've been talking about in order to discredit you? It's quite interesting.
There's a lot of unfair questioning going on. These
Yeah,
people haven't got near power yet. So how would they know?
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Yeah.
And that's why the other side is I'm quite interested to see what they do if they got in.
I saw some of Question Time a couple of weeks ago. I don't normally watch it because it just annoys me. And somebody that was clearly a reform beta, they had their chairman Zia Yusuf on. He's on quite regularly, and somebody asked him a question, and it was trying to say, reform have done this, that, or the other, and he asked him for specifics, and the guy shut down. He had no specifics, and interestingly, that should have been the end of it. You've got no evidence for me. You're just saying it for effect, and when I've asked you for examples, you've got nothing. Instead, Fiona Bruce came in with set specifics for him, and it's like, hang on a minute. He's just asked the question, but you've got the it was very, very clear.
Question to dig into it. Yeah.
It was very clear he was an audience plant, and they've done it before. They've had people caught on camera that have had earpieces in, not deaf people that have had earpieces in, been allegedly receiving information. But Fiona Bruce there bailed this guy out because she had the information that he was expected to quote, and obviously dried up on screen. And she stepped in for him and saved him, and it was blatant. But that's the BBC, isn't it? They don't care. They just don't care.
No, they don't. Well, and we're always talking about the BBC, aren't we? And no, they don't. But again, on this particular story, this is RTD again, as you're saying in the chat, attacking something he doesn't like. So I would imagine, to add to everything else going on into his 2026 episode of Doctor Who, there's going to be even more. There's going to be something in there about a nasty party that shouldn't be allowed in, because he sort of got to it in one of the episodes of Gatwa's era, the one that Gatwa wasn't in. He started to go down that route anyway. But I think this is another thing about this, and I don't like this. If he continues, that's all it's going to be. He's got this thing coming on Channel 4 coming up in the spring, so I believe. This tiptoe, this TQ cult thing. If any of you are watching that, you're going to see how angry the man is, because it's all going to be in there. We started seeing it come through Doctor Who, then he's gone directly to this thing, and then he's coming back to do what should be a celebration of Christmas Doctor Who episode, something fun and light. I don't think it's going to be. Because here he goes again. He's off on one. His views, his cult, which we're all attending the Attitude 101 evening event the other afternoon. Because they're not being obeyed, they'll attack. And because Reform has no way of actually following the TQ cult, because they've made the distinction, TQ and LGB are two different things. So there's LGB over there and there's LGBTQ over there. You're not the same thing. They're the only party that have done that so far. And they've made that distinction. And that's the other reason he doesn't like it. Because he's been handed the truth from a politician that he doesn't like, But he isn't. At least Farage is a politician, unlike Polanski.
Why has Polanski changed his name out of interest? I wasn't aware of that.
No idea. We don't know.
Something to hide, perhaps, allegedly?
Yeah. This is the other thing. Stephen L. Reese is making a great point here. The only books getting banned from America are the ones teaching kids to cut their bits off. Had the cult not gone for the kids, we'd not have much of an issue. They're fighting something they started. You're right. And the other thing that RTD won't like about the fact is that a lot of people are speaking out, including myself, about drag queen story time. He didn't like that, did he? But you're right. These are all the bits. They don't like people coming along like LGB Alliance, like the LGB, or politicians that support and understand the difference between the two groups. they don't like them being questioned about this. They've gone so far down this road now, there's no way they can turn back. They have to stay committed to this. And he's going to do it. And there's that point where you just say, I have a view and I'm going to share it. Well, you should then also expect people to turn around and question you, RTD. And I'm going to say again, come on this channel. Come onto this show. Come and explain to us why the LGBTQ plus. There was an interesting video this week, RTD, where one of your people was saying that the P should now be added in Britain.
That was horrendous. It really was awful,
wasn't it? And not a chance am I standing with your group, especially with all this, with your homophobia and now that coming out. What's your opinion on that? You can get in touch with me, whosviews1@gmail.com. Come onto the show. There's a few of us that would like to have a good discussion with you. These people are insane, quite frankly, aren't they?
Yeah. Very dangerous.
Let's see what they're saying in the chat for us. It's good to see you all. Thank you for joining us. Here's your headlines this Sunday, the 15th of February, 2026. It's just coming up to 9:45 in the evening here in the UK. Java Bean has just introduced us. Good morning to you. I hope you've got some Weetabix. He's starting down there in Australia, so that's good to know. A lot of you were questioning, really, Starmer's dad was a toolmaker? Apparently so, yes. Apparently so. What I forgot. Jason Parker, RTD lives in his own fantasy. Everything he accuses others of is what he seems to want on others. I don't trust the reheated Thatcherite Reform Party, but these slanders are dishonest. RTD is a liar, allegedly. I'll add at that particular point. The whole point is he goes to these things, like I've said this before, he goes to something like the attitude things a couple of times a year, doesn't he? And he's full of like-minded people who will just clap him.
Yeah.
You know, and therefore it empowers him, thinking he's doing the right thing. Then he goes to whatever work he's doing, and people are around him kissing his ass, not questioning him. So he thinks, oh yeah, everybody's on the same page. They're not. They're not. And the fact that Reform, and I'm sure Restore will be up there with them very, very shortly, are on the increase, again, they're frightened of this because it's not their way of thinking. It's not what they want it to be. Look at, he's still sulking over Brexit as well, doesn't he? Because people didn't do what he thought they were going to do or what they should do. They can't get over this. This is the far left for you. They're always going on about the far right. Our prime minister's always going on about the far right. His cronies in government are going on about the far right. The TQ cults are always going on about the far right. It's the far left we need to be frightened of because they're the ones that are dictating to us. He mentioned there, didn't he, about the banning of books and all this sort of stuff. How many of your people, RTD, on your political landscape have been cancelling people for views that don't correspond with their own? Like Graham Linehan, Jimmy Dreyfus, John Barrowman. I'll put that out there for you. I'd love him
one
to
of the
come
One of the universities' debating societies said that Reform weren't welcome this week, didn't they? That's a debating society. I mean, for God's sake.
Bangor University's Student Debating Society. Well, they're hardly debating, are they? Do you know what I mean? And the annoying thing is that Bangor University came out and said, it's nothing to do with us. Nothing to do with us. Nothing to see here. You know, it's down to the kids, down to them. But again, it shows me, and I do get worried about this, the fact that democracy is dying in our country and everybody's now judged. And if you don't think the way I want you to think, you are judged and you are far right. These idiots who keep calling out for the far right should pray to God that they never meet the far right because they won't know what's hit them. We were taught history. We know the horrors of the far right. How dare you call people far right for just not agreeing with your ridiculous points of view?
It just trivializes reality, doesn't it? That's the thing. Yeah.
Well, they don't. A lot of the time, they don't know what they're talking about, do they? Because and we've said this before, they conflate the far right with the N word that sounds like Yahtzee.
Oh, they get called that all the time.
That is Yeah, but that's the extreme left. That party in Germany in that time were the National Socialist Party, which is what Labour are. Labour are socialists, and that's what they are. So you can't say you're right wing and you are that particular N word as well. The two are completely opposite, but they don't realise what they're talking about. In the same way, they would absolutely empty their bowels if they met a proper N word. They would also do the same if they met an equivalent of some far right, which, you always get extreme elements everywhere, but there is not a large scale organized far right organization in this country. I just don't believe it. There is a far left one though, and Labour are part of it.
Oh, totally and utterly. And that comes out in all their policies is the word I would normally use, but they don't have any. And they haven't actually done anything that was in their manifesto. I know because I read it. I have this sad habit, Who viewers, of when there's a general election coming up, of reading all the manifestos I can get to decide who I'm going to vote for. And I can absolutely tell you that the stuff that was in the Labour manifesto hasn't arrived. There's nothing there. So they've betrayed the British public, which should be some sort of crime, quite frankly. John Paul Barrett with us there. Matt the Silent, you've sent me an email. Thank you. I will get that after the show. Thank you very much. I love getting emails. Might take me a while to get back to you, but I love getting them. But the problem is as well is that, these people don't seem to be in tune with including our current government, are not in tune with the British public. The British public are getting angrier and angrier and angrier, and that frightens me as well. And nobody's listening to them. And by saying to them all, because you don't agree with us and because we're judging you, you're far right, they're getting even angrier. It's very worrying times in our country right now. I've never seen it. And I can't speak for you guys, but I've never seen it like this before in our country.
No, it's scary. It really is.
It is, isn't it?
The world's gone completely mad. And it's just, I'm looking forward to the next election, but it's like, what's going to happen? It's like, it needs to change. It really does. It's just scary,
I think and hope that the next election will be before 2029. I think after this by-election coming up in a week or so in Manchester, that Gorton and somewhere else by-election, I think I want to think when, but I think if Labour lose that, and then the elections that they're allowing to go ahead in May, they'll get an absolute kicky in that. I think Starmer will then probably go. And at that point, it depends who comes in, because, of course, when it was the Tories and they were going through prime ministers like nobody's business, people like Angela Rayner and other senior Labour Party figures were all saying you should not be allowed to change prime minister during your term without a general election. So they've pretty much stated what should happen. So if they don't then do the same, if Starmer stands down, then they don't. Well, I know they don't have a moral leg to stand on anyway, but I don't see how they could continue if they don't hold a general election. They'll have lost all credibility, whatever credibility they've got left.
Yeah. They should give Larry the Cat the job. At least he got continuity.
Yes. Yeah.
It's good to see you all in the chat. Thank you so much for being with us this evening. It's always great to get your views as well, but especially at this moment, because there's so many views around, we all have a different opinion of what's going on, and I'm very interested in hearing everybody's opinion about this, because I'm genuinely worried about my country, the United Kingdom. I am genuinely worried about it. And when I see showbiz lovies like your man RTD there, and I've mentioned it before, but they are so obviously hating Britain. And I just sometimes wonder, Paul, why the hell are you still living here? Bugger off then. Yeah. I mean, they can't go to America now because they hate America as well because of who's in charge there as the president. But he's only got, what, another 3 years to do? Is it something like that? 4 years? I don't know. But yeah, it's a short... the great thing about this is that all these people get short periods of time unless they're voted back in. Yeah. But, for all these people that are hating Britain because it's not molding exactly to the way that they're dictating, bugger off. Go. Just go. You have an option. That's the beauty of our country. We are a democracy. You don't have to stay. Instead of calling us for everything, and including our prime minister in that, why don't you just bugger off somewhere else then? Why not try the Middle East, for example?
Mm-hmm.
or the countries that you hold so well and you're always flying flags for. Go and see how you get on over there, you bloody idiots. Thank you very much, everybody, being in the chat. Let's go into the chat, guys, shall we? And shall we see what's going on? A lot of you talking about all this. And that, again, it's great to see the chat. I love it when you're all chatting away. Matt the Silence is saying to us, RTD is just trying to turn Doctor Who's villains into the things and people he hates. Yes.
Yeah.
And we've seen that in the Gatwa years, haven't we? How pathetic was that? And wasting a beautiful actor like Aneurin Bernard, who should have been the Doctor, in my eyes, wasting that bloody ridiculous politician part on that wonderful actor who can carry a series.
Yeah.
What a waste. And that's why I keep thinking, Who's Viewers, that was a consolation prize, because I reckon he was going to be the Doctor until Gatwa walked in and ticked all the boxes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's such a shame. Imagine a series with him. If they did it like proper Doctor Who, it would be amazing.
Yeah.
If they'd done it as they've done it and just had him in place of Shooty and did all the same things, it would still be crap, unfortunately. But yeah.
Yeah. Robert Payne saying to us, RTD is not a happy man, is he? Can you tell? He's a very unhappy and angry man. And that's, as he said there, he channels it into his work. That's why he's wrong for Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Because Doctor Who is not about TQ cult issues. Doctor Who is not about equality and inclusion and all that sort of stuff. It's a science fiction, fantasy, family drama. And it should be on, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but Doctor Who should be something that every week takes you to some sort of science fiction, Time Lord versus baddies, round it all up, have an adventure, and then home in time for tea.
It's escapism. That's what it is. It's entertainment. You know, it's not necessarily. It's for everyone. It's not exclusive to one little minority.
I agree with that. Doctor Who was for everyone. Certainly, the original series was for everyone, and it never at any time had to say who it was for. It was just for everyone. And now they can't stop saying who it's for, and also who it's not for, which is us.
Yeah, and we were told that several times, weren't we, by Chibnall as well, allegedly Whittaker, and now Gatwa, and RTD implies it as well, doesn't it? Because he doesn't back them up, saying you can't say that, and we're sorry about saying that. Let's not forget RTD or David T, says Stephen L. Rees, blaming reform for the threat of free speech. Yet DT told Kemi Badenoch to shut up and be quiet. Oh, I'm never going to forget that. Yeah. I will never forget that, because as we know, Tennant is also part of the TQ cult. Protect the dolls. Men don't need protecting. Grow up, you idiot. You know, go on, Paul.
I was going to say, I love that comment earlier about Russell T Davies was wild, he was bloody livid. That's a lovely quote from Not 9 O'Clock News with Gerard the Gorilla. Remember that sketch? Brilliant, lovely, yeah.
Can I just say to you all in the chat as well, it is wonderful to see you all having proper grown-up discussions, just like we used to do in Doctor Who fandom about the length of Tom's scarf, or whether John was better, or Tom was better, or Peter was better. It's lovely. You're not falling out in there. You're all being respectful. You're having a bit of a laugh as well. I love it. Well done, Who viewers. This is how it should be. You don't get this on social media, do you, everybody? You know, everybody's being civilized to each other, agreeing to disagree, and I love seeing it. And politics, of course, is always going to be a bone of contention, even more so today, because you get judged. Not on this channel, you won't. And thank you, because you're absolutely brilliant. All of you in the chat, fantastic. His dad made him so a tool maker he is, says Marie UK. I'll add allegedly at that point for £2 super chat. Thank you, Marie UK. I love her sense of humour. Margie75, hello, lovely. JT, you would decimate RTD if he came on the show. Please make it happen. I have asked him. You think I'm joking? I've sent him 2 emails. Yeah, it was 2, not 3. Yeah, there was a third one to somebody else. But there was, I've asked him twice and I never get an answer because he won't. Because there would be myself, and I know certain people from the LGBT community that would love, as well as Ian and Paul, there would be about 8 of us, maybe 9, and one of him, to say, what exactly is your point of view and why exactly you're doing this? And do you not understand your homophobia? And do you not understand what you're doing here? Do you not understand you're influencing young people in a very poisonous way, as far as we're concerned? React. I'd love it if you came on the show. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? Honestly.
He wouldn't have the guts even for a one-to-one, JT, let alone with other people there. He wants to stand at a podium and spout to people who are clapping like seals, like you said before. That's the only thing he wants, where he gets adulation from people like him. He doesn't want to go on somewhere that would question him, because, like a lot of them, they can't cope with questioning. They just can't do it. They can't handle it.
No, because at some point, as you see on these interviews, their lie runs out and they start repeating themselves, you know, and they start then correcting themselves, and they get themselves in, because the truth will always out. And you can't deny the truth. Ideological nonsense that they spout is not truth. It's ideological. They don't know what that means either. Z3PO is with us saying the far right is like the modern audience. It's mostly non-existent. Thank God. Thank God. Because, you know, the last thing we need in the world right now is the real far right appearing, because guess what? We wouldn't stand a chance, because society doesn't know what's left or right or up or down or backwards or forwards or right or wrong anymore. And that's the other thing that worries me. Sometimes I get the feeling it's like one of these silly movies where they're just waiting, because the far left are doing the dirty work for them. And do you know what I mean? And I do get worried about that they're just over the horizon, just going like Russia and China. No, let them just destroy themselves. We'll bide our time. Let's see what happens. God, can you imagine? God. Matt is saying to us, I'm dealing with a guy who has been trying to cancel me. I'm sorry to hear that. I wonder if that's what you've emailed me about. I'm sorry to hear that. They can't. Don't let them. Be strong. And make sure you block them on everything. But I'll see what your email is about. And Problem Being is with us. These universities think debating someone involved banging pots and cancelling people. Have you seen them, PB?
Yeah.
Going around the place with a saucepan, bang, bang, bang. I've seen more entertainment with Sooty. Honest to God. What are they doing? And there was a lovely thing this week from a very talented young lady who is a journalist, and she's working for various people, including GB News. And she did a really interesting piece on their platform called GB News Original, where she went to one of these rallies by the TQ cult, because a woman had been barred from every council gymnasium in her area of London. I think it was Shoreditch, because a very obvious man, if you know what I mean, was changing in a woman's changing room in the gym, and she complained. But because the fella said, I'm a trans woman, they all got at the woman, the actual real woman, and banned her.
Yeah.
Right. So she's taking that, you know, I mean, she could take that to court and she'll probably win. And the council will have to pay a lot of money if they do that. But this young lady went to this protest, and she said, why are you protesting? And they all go, because trans women are women, blah, blah, blah. And she was trying to talk to them. And this idiot came up and said, you know, called her far right, which she isn't. Started banging a drum so that she couldn't record properly, but she carried on. And, you know, even though this idiot's banging on a drum, and there's another one with a saucepan, obviously taken from the kitchen because it looked very burnt. But, you know, bang, 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 bang. She carried on, and you can still hear them. You can still hear the people that are trying to talk to her.
They're not doing themselves any favors, are they? They're not.
No.
You're not thinking, oh, these are sane people. Let's agree with your side of the argument. It's madness. It really is.
That's who we're dealing with now. Sheila B in the Devotions is with us saying Polanski, as of September 2025, changed his name from David Polden at the age of 18 for two primary reasons: to reclaim his Jewish heritage, she says.
Oh, right, okay.
I wonder what the other one was.
I was just curious. That was all.
Yeah, I wonder what the other one was. So he's Jewish, and he supports Communist for Palestine.
It's a little bit of a juxtaposition there, isn't there? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And hello to BJF 1303. Reform is still with failed Tories and career politicians. Sorry for laughing. Restore won't make the same mistake. It's interesting times in the UK. It really is. I mean, it's as I say, I'm interested in politics, and this is actually quite exciting because I'm seeing people being taken on. And what was the traditional right-wing vote now is being split, but then the traditional left-wing vote is also going to be split. The Labour Party have so many alternatives now, including the idiots in the Green Party. It's interesting times. I think we're going to be seeing decades of hung parliaments, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah,
which never bodes well.
Mind you, in fairness, when you look at what went before, up to the end of Gordon Brown, and what came afterwards, leading up to COVID and everything, the last coalition, which lasted the full 5-year term, was actually probably the most stable that the government's been in the last 20 odd years, to be fair.
Yeah.
And the Lib Dems and Labour and the Greens, they're all vying for the same space, aren't they? Because they're all that side of left.
Yeah, exactly. Well, as I say, I want to again thank you so much. These subjects we love talking about here on Headlines, your political show. We discuss the things that affect the world of Doctor Who, and because they talk about politics, we talk about them talking about politics. But I want to thank you all again in the chat for being so respectful to each other and being brilliant there. And that's what it's all about. As proper Doctor Who fans, we know we agree to disagree. So just brilliant. Thank you, everybody. And it's great to have you all here. I'm so proud, really. What a great community we've got here on Who's Views. Absolutely wonderful. Before we move on to our next story, Derek Hart's asking us a question. Are you doing a season 21 Blu-ray special next month when it's released? Yes, we're doing our season 21 overview in March. So that's coming up for you. We're also
4 weeks tomorrow. Hooray!
He's counting the hours.
4 years and 4 weeks for you, JT, when it comes
out. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, we're going to be having our season 21 overview, and we're also going to be reviewing The Awakening.
Oh, nice.
There we go. That's in the plan for you. There's lots coming up for you here on the channel this month as well, because we haven't quite finished. This Wednesday, live at 8 o'clock, we're going to be taking you all back to 1989 as we look at not just season 26, but the events surrounding season 26, because 1989, of course, began the Wilderness Years. And that's a great place to start our brand new semi-regular series, The Wilderness Years. So come and join us for that. It's up on the show page for you now here on the channel. We've also got several more shows coming up for you as well, including a special show on Friday, but more of that coming up in the week. Oh, fantastic. So I hope you're happy about that one, Derek, and come and join us for that one. Again, lots of respect there. And here's Matt Enspiel saying, yes, called it with the review of The Awakening. Funky is also pointing out it is a busy week on Who's Views this week. It is, my friend. Absolutely. 2 shows for you on Friday. One that will drop at breakfast time here in the UK, and the other one's going to be live at 8 o'clock in the evening. But more of that coming up in the week for you. Keep on touch with us, of course, on our Facebook page, Who's Views, and also our Instagram, which of course the lovely Kirsty looks after for us as well. So more details about our up and coming shows there. Oh, Stephen Braddock said 1989 broke my heart.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to be going through a lot of that, I guess, on Wednesday's show. Yeah, and hopefully you'll like our new up and coming series about the Wilderness Years. From RTD, we're going to be staying with people that he works with now, because remember, RTD isn't actually hired by the BBC for Doctor Who. He's actually hired by Bad Wolf. As I know well, because I've kicked off about RTD to BBC Studios twice through emails now saying, how dare he, going along these lines, why aren't you holding him account, blah, blah, blah. And they've always come back with the same email, basically saying he's nothing to do with us. He's employed by an external source. However, Doctor Who is, of course, owned by BBC Studios, which leads me to this story and this gentleman. This, everybody, is Zy Bennett. He's the ex-Sky content boss and is now the new CEO and Chief Creative Officer for BBC Studio Productions. So Zy Bennett is a face and a name we might be getting as Doctor Who fans to get to know big time over the next wee while.
I wonder if he's related to Michael Grade by any chance.
Well, there's a lot of interest going around now on this particular platform, of course, on the Tube of Who, from alleged other channels. What are you talking about? And, also on fan rumors about the next series of Doctor Who. Who's going to be running the next series of Doctor Who? Who's going to be the Doctor in the next series of Doctor Who? The big name, of course, going around over the last few days, guys, for the role of the Doctor is Will Sharp. Are you aware of this guy?
Yes, he's the Amadeus in the Sky series, I think.
That's correct. He's just played Amadeus in Sky's series. And of course, it's basically because he's in the public eye at the moment. Now, we are old enough and ugly enough, gentlemen, to have seen all this before. Whenever there's a success, whenever somebody makes it, whenever they're in the public eye, suddenly they're associated with Doctor Who. It's quite a wicked tradition, really, isn't it? But even the woke tro this week picked up this fan wish that's around on some, apparently on some YouTubers channels, on social media. And they had, and I'm quoting here, Metro reached out to the BBC, who refused to comment. Forcing us, the Metro, to turn to the only people who might know better, the bookies at Paddy Power.
They have their finger on the pulse, don't they?
And boy, did they have a scoop for us, says the Metro. Using their unknown and arcane arts, they surmise that Will Sharp has just 50-1 odds of taking over the TARDIS. That means there's only a 2% chance of it happening. So sorry, everyone, but it doesn't seem like Will is going to be traveling through time and space soon. That's what I call journalism. Yeah. But there's, I mean, you guys know, don't you? We've seen these sorts of things going on with other alleged channels and fan stuff and certain bases set on other worlds.
You're probably being just as well going to Mystic Meg to find out who the next Doctor's going to be,
Well, I think that's where a lot of them are going to. And a lot of people are claiming to have alleged sources, aren't they? Sources where, our source says this, our source said that. My source was cheese sauce for my birthday lunch today. It was quite nice. But it's you've got to take everything with a heavy pinch of salt. And then along comes Cy Bennett, the new CEO and Chief Creative Officer for BBC Studios Productions. And this, Zy Bennett's BBC Studios master plan production boss creates global content unit as he talks Doctor Who, Strictly Come Dancing, and 2026 being the year of delivery. Now, I've taken this from Deadline, as you can see here, so credit to them. BBC Studios production chief, who has a new job title, more on that anon, has been in post for just over 12 months. And while it's been something of a rocky ride, he certainly can't be accused of twiddling his thumbs. Now, with one final piece to his BBC Studios jigsaw soon falling into place, Zy Bennett is trying to free up his key lieutenants to birth the next generation of hits, nurture the current ones, and invest in a new wave of talent. Can I just say at this particular point, talking about 1989, everybody, if you were there are parallels here. I'm getting certain things that I last heard.
Deja vu, I think it's called, yeah.
Yeah, it's deja vu. It's deja vu. You'll see what I mean when we carry on with the story. I look around my top table and I'm pretty happy, the executive tells Deadline in his first interview since joining BBC Studios from Sky. So now it's about delivery. This is the year of getting our nose to the grindstone, getting some commissions, and converting those developments into orders. BBC Studios is the commercial arm of the BBC, a production and distribution powerhouse that beams Strictly Come Dancing, Doctor Who, Bluey, Baby Reindeer, and Blue Planet to the world. It holds a unique place in the British television landscape, being able to operate and think with a ruthlessly commercial hat on. According to Bennett, and yet ultimately putting funds back into the public service, the BBC, its one shareholder, which has, of course, fallen on somewhat tricky financial times in recent years. Really, you've seen nothing yet. When Bennett took over from his predecessor, Ralph Lee, he felt there was a part of this story that BBC Studios was failing to tell. We were not vocal and proud about the totality of what we do, he explains. We would be individually proud about certain shows, but we didn't come together and say you are part of a collective studio that has creative experience you can learn and share from. We're a huge distributor and the most awarded producer in the UK, but we're not always mentioned first. Telling that holistic story is what Bennett, an affable executive who appears younger than his 50-something years, is laser focused on doing. After spending his first 6 months getting the lie of the land, he clicked into gear at the start of 2025, merging factual with entertainment under Kate Ward, bringing in former Channel 4 youth boss Carl Warner to focus on formats, reforming global productions under Matt Ford, and revamping scripted with the hire of Gangs of London EP Jamie Hull to run drama out of the UK, and veteran executive Mark Lindsay shifting focus solely onto LA. He even hired, and this might, you might remember this, he even hired an artificial intelligence supremo from Disney, Alice Taylor, who is probing interesting areas like drama reconstruction in documentaries and using AI functionality in formats. Now, funding the Time Lord. No decision more neatly demonstrates the nasty headwinds facing scripted than Disney pulling out of the Doctor Who deal with the BBC Studios and Bad Wolf after just 2 seasons. For the show to continue long beyond its 2026 Christmas special, which is being penned by showrunner RTD, the BBC now needs to replace some of that lost budget, which totals millions of pounds per hour. Bennett avoids directly answering the question of whether BBC Studios will stump up some of the lost cash to give the show a long-term future, noting that he won't speak for the BBC, but says, we're all in it together when it comes to keeping the Time Lord on the small screen for years to come. We're a big, important part of Doctor Who, and we're all motivated to make sure Doctor Who has a long and flourishing life, he says. We've got the Christmas special coming. After that, it's time for us all to work on it. The BBC and BBC Studios may have lost their American co-production partner on Doctor Who, but Bennett brims with confidence over BBC Studios standing in the States, and he is still riding high over the success of the CBS version of Ghosts, which emerged from a deal with Lionsgate that elapsed 2 years ago. And that was it. That was the whole bit about Doctor Who. Let's look at it again together, shall we? We're a big, important part of Doctor Who, and we're all motivated to make sure Doctor Who has a long and flourishing life. We've got the Christmas special coming. After that, it's time for us all to work on it. Now, I don't know about you guys, and I don't know about you all in the chat, but that seems to me that this year, 2026, they'll be filming 1 episode, and then that's it, while they look at the possibilities of a future in 2027, which means that if there is something going on, in my view, it might not even hit till 2028. What do you guys think?
It just sounds like more flannel, doesn't it? And like I said, it's like deja vu. It really is from what we had in '89. So it just sounds like they're palming us off again, really. And this new guy's come in. Obviously, maybe that they had plans before he came in, but he's thought, okay, let's look at this properly and let's either postpone it, whatever we're going to do with it, and let's really think about it. And so there's no new series in the pipeline at all. It could be any time between 2028 or 2038. It could be any time, couldn't it? Let's be honest.
I mean, let's be clear, JT. Let's be absolutely clear. There are no other YouTube channels. I've never heard of it. It's absolutely impossible. But if there were, and they had sources or whatever, I think personally that's just bollocks, because it gives them the ability, these fictitious channels, it gives them the ability to say whatever they want to believe, just like some that were saying the new series had started filming months ago and all that kind of thing that never was. The Christmas special that was in 2025 was filming. Yeah. They were adamant, and they would say they have a source that says, and they did with the Christmas special thing as well. And it's just a thing that they tag on to the end of what they've made up or want to believe to try and give themselves some credibility. And then, there are some saying that, obviously, of these fictitious channels. And then we see this from the guy that's there that would actually be in charge of saying yay or nay to it.
Yeah.
And it's very, very clear that there is nothing beyond the Christmas thing. And hopefully their cost saving will stop even that. But if they look at it in 2027, you know full well that if they wanted to do a Christmas special at the end of 2027, they'd have to start it around March, April time. Yeah. So if they're talking about future series, then they're going to have to start that around that time, if not earlier. But that's the time that they would be starting to look at it. So even if they decided yes, they would probably then start filming it at the start of 2028, probably for showing in 2029. If even then, like Paul says, probably even 2030, if they wanted to try and do something that they haven't done in decades, which is get it right. We'd have to see.
That's true. No, it's true. Corporate waffle was the term that Matthew Pounder used there. And it is. And the reason I think it is waffle, guys, is simply because they learned their lesson in 1985 when it comes to Doctor Who, because when they cancelled, and let's face it, we've talked about this in our hiatus show, at the 40th anniversary of the hiatus. Michael Gray did axe Doctor Who. He hated it. Yeah. He wanted it off his channel and he axed it. And it was only the outrage from us that were around at the time, the Doctor Who fandom of the United Kingdom at the time, as well as some of the fans from America, that got it saved. They backed off. The BBC, for once in its entire life, backed off. It panicked. No, we don't mean that. We're just going to put it on hold for 18 months and we're going to bring it back bigger and better than ever. And what we got was the trial of the Time Lord, please discuss. But that was in September 1986. And then it limped. I don't want to be cruel here. I'm a fan. I actually enjoyed 86, 87. I'd rather watch 87 now than anything from 2000. What was it? 3, 4, 5, up to 26. It got through 4 extra years, didn't it? But they've learned the lesson from that. And even though they don't hand down anything from previous generations in the BBC, or it doesn't seem to, they are well aware that if they just suddenly come along now and say, there's not going to be any Doctor Who now for the foreseeable future, there will be an uproar. And I think that's the big mistake. I think they need to be honest and say, there isn't going to be any Doctor Who in the future.
I don't know why they're doing a Christmas special at all, really. What's the point?
Now, what's the point?
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
Nobody wants it, well, apart from the minority. It's not going to get good viewing figures, Paul. It's RTD. The fan base is not huge anymore. The public aren't going to look at it. We've just had the worst Christmas Day ratings for the BBC in its entire history. That's not going to go up again because Doctor Who's going to be included. In fact, I would expect Doctor Who to do badly this Christmas because people are so peed off with the BBC again. Yeah. They're not going to be supporting them on Christmas Day at the end of the year because they're going to make more mistakes this year. Woodhouse 122 is saying that says to me Nout after Christmas 2026. To me as well, Woodhouse 122. Yeah. I wish they'd just be honest and say, because there are certain fans out there that are struggling at the moment to get through Doctor Who because they haven't had a brand new fix of Doctor Who since Gatwa buggered off, whenever that was.
That's why all these fictitious channels are claiming that Jack Thorne's doing it and Will Sharp's doing the Doctor, and there'll be a new series, or Pete McTighe's taking over, or it's going to be a gothic new world of Doctor Who. They're all kind of panicking and thinking, my God, it's going to be cancelled. And they can't face that fact like we couldn't in 89. So it's hard. I know. I understand it's hard if it's going to be cancelled. But it's a reality. And if it is going to come back for a Christmas special, what's he going to do to tie it all up that's going to put viewers off even more,
Well, I've said this before. If he carries on, which he's going to do, with something which will be Billie Piper appearing like she did at the end in that desperate attempt to gain popularity and gain viewers and bring them back in that kitchen sink crap called The Reality War, because he can't leave that alone, it's going to have Billie in it. Right? Yeah. And he's going to throw everything into it to try and get people. Thank you, Macronon. Nice to see you. Thank you. What was I saying? Yes, so he's going to people will switch off immediately Oh, this is something that I haven't seen. What's going on here? Oh, I didn't watch the last set. You know, we'll have all the publicity around it at the beginning, and it won't work. And they'll go and watch whatever. And ITV Studios, if you're watching this, get ready for Christmas. Make sure you've got some bloody big blockbusters there, because you can annihilate the BBC for the first time in decades right now.
Yeah.
Or years, rather, not decades, in years. You can annihilate them this year with a good quality, and I mean quality stuff, of your big shows. Christmas specials all the way, all day Christmas Day. You can get rid of the BBC, including Doctor Who. And if you just wheel out something with Anton Deck on it, you know, like a Christmas celebrity version of Talent or whatever, that would annihilate Doctor Who on the day. And as a fan, it's not easy for me to say this, but it's the truth. And here we have Zy Bennett, the CEO and Chief Creative Officer of BBC Studios Productions, coming out being very non-committal and giving the party line as it is. Now, we in Britain are used to party lines right now, aren't we? From all of them. And the BBC is exactly the same thing. We're all in it together. Sounds very familiar, because he's talking about the BBC and he's talking about BBC Studios and God knows who else. I don't even know if Bad Wolf's going to be in the mix there. Daniel, who's in the chat, will be delighted because he doesn't like Bad Wolf. But definitely, you know, we're all in this together, but possibly not just yet. I think that they have realized they've got a massive problem here.
Well, there's that last line, we need to work on it. That says everything, doesn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It would be refreshing. It would be refreshing if they were honest, though. If they were honest and just said, look, we're not going to be producing another series of Doctor Who in the next year or two, at least, because, let's face it, the last couple of years were not a success. Disney didn't like it. Disney walked away. It spaffed a load of money, and you had nothing to show for it. The programmes, like you said, the BBC had its worst Christmas in living memory, but then the last series of Doctor Who had its worst ratings in living memory.
Yes.
And only, you know, they were only marginally lower than the previous ones, which up to that point had also been the worst ones in living memory. So it's not a success. We're not going to waste more money on it. If we do bring it back, and we will look at it, but we're going to bring it back, we're going to do it properly, or we're not going to do it at all. And it can't involve Russell T Davies. It can't involve Bad Wolf. And it can't really be a continuation of where it was left with Billie Piper flobbering her lips outside of the TARDIS, hanging in space. You know, because what the hell was that all about? It can't carry on from that, because all you do, it has to be a clean slate. Just say everything from 2005 was a different universe, and bump, just go again, and don't refer to the number of regenerations. Just have the Doctor and go from there.
It just needs to be set up as well, again, with a different production team. I mean, we're talking about the possibility of a series. It's an expensive series to do, which is, you know, there's no way they can do Doctor Who now with 13 episodes in it, for example, unless it's 25-minute formats, 30-minute format. You can't do 1 hour, 13 minutes. Can you imagine the cost? It's bad enough trying to get 8 produced, you know, because television's so expensive. Thank you to Brian and Delian there. Thank you very much, mate. Nice to see you. Thank you. Go on, Paul.
Even having the budget of Jodie's era or Capaldi's era is still a lot of money, isn't it? I mean, you're not getting Disney money, but even that's a big budget, isn't it?
Well, it's a huge
if you want to make science fiction, if you want to make it like planet hopping, spaceships everywhere, which is what they were throwing the money at, then yeah. But if you grounded it a little bit more, like a bit what they did with 1970 and everything, if you grounded it a little bit more, made it more threat to Earth again, if you revisited that style of thing, I'm not necessarily saying unit or anything like that, but if you tried to ground it and make it less reliant on effects, but when you needed a monster or something, that's where you put your money.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you're not necessarily breaking the bank, and it would be doable, but just not with this bunch of quarterwits.
I think it's still going to be expensive, because television drama is massively expensive. I mean, you've got staff to pay for, and you've got actors to pay for, you've got writers to pay for. It's not just what appears on screen; it's the whole big thing. It's not easy, and that's why so many projects now fall down. You can have brilliant projects, but you just cannot get that budget. And because the world we're living in now, it's constantly changing. You can budget something on the Monday, and it's out of date by the following Monday. You know, and Doctor Who is expensive because it will rely on special effects. It does rely on monsters. They will actually put in CGI. Even model work now is going to be expensive for the talent for that. And it's got to recoup its costs through having a decent show to sell through Blu-ray sales, DVD, everything else you can possibly market, toys, and it hasn't got that audience anymore. You know, because they've just been alienated, been told to go away. Collectors like all of us don't collect anymore for the simple reason we were told to bugger off, and because the show's crap. BBC Studios, of course, make money from the merchandise. If it was healthy enough and the merchandise was bringing in a lot of money, they could put that back into the series. But I personally believe that's not happened because the figures have gone down on the actual sales. Legion of James is saying it sounds like they're letting the Christmas special go ahead as a write-off. Then once it's done and out the way, ditch RTD and try and fix the mess. Or is that just wishful thinking? Probably a bit of both. But look at what he says there. Look at what Mr. Bennett has said. Should we look at it again, everybody? It's got here, as part of all this, we've got the Christmas special coming. After that, it's time for us to work on it. Again, this takes me back, and we're going to be talking a little bit about this in our 1989 show this Wednesday, live at 8 o'clock here on the channel. It does remind me of what the BBC said after the Michael Gray fiasco in 1985. Oh, we need to rest it because it's become too violent. We need to look at it. We need to work on it again. It's got the same vibe to me.
Yeah, we're hoping it'll be as big in the 90s as it was in the 80s, wherever etc. Yeah,
exactly. We do have the other problem, of course, that we talked about before. PT Muzak is saying the BBC won't have any money left in 2027. Yeah, there's all that. Jason Parker saying this is saving face. I agree, Jason. I think it's their polite way of saying we didn't like what happened. And we're going to wait until the reactions to the Christmas episode. And then we're going to work on it and see where it goes from that. Because somebody somewhere must have said to them, what are you doing this for?
I think it's amazing, though. It got 20 years or 15 series and many specials and spin-offs, etc. It's amazing it lasted as long as it did, let's be honest.
It's 21 years old this year, this show. I know they were desperately trying to get it to 26 for obvious reasons. And I've been told that through somebody I know, reliable. Yes, I've got sources as well. But the difference is my sources don't know a bloody thing at the moment. They haven't a clue because as far as I've been told, nobody at BBC Studios gives a rat's arse. They don't care. They've moved on. You know, oh, Doctor Who. It's looked on, oh, that's an old show. Quite rightly, it's 21 years old, you know. Richard Brooks saying to us, the Doctor Who Christmas special will be the last production for some time, in my opinion. And Woodhouse 122 saying a 3 or 4 year gap would actually help the show with the general viewers. It could do. The thing we've got Woodhouse 122 is that I've been thinking about this, as I do. Britain isn't the same Britain as it was even 10 years ago. And we've got a lot of people in our country now that don't even know what Doctor Who is. They don't know what a police box is. They don't know what the TARDIS is. They wouldn't recognize a Dalek if it trundled up to them in the street. They don't know what the Cybermen is. They don't know who the Doctor is because it's not part of their culture.
Yeah. But so wait till we get the CBBC cartoon. That'll fix everything.
Wow. That's this year. I mean, it's a case of can Doctor Who survive in the Britain that has been created as it is now? It's an interesting point. I'm putting it out there to all of you. Can it? Personally, I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
You might find as well, it's a bit extreme, but you might find that if Trump has his way and the BBC is absolutely financially destroyed, then the only way the BBC can raise funds to continue is if it sold some of its IP. Because, you know, the BBC would never actually give ownership of Doctor Who or other programmes to anybody else. But if they lost £3 or £4 billion, they might be forced. They might be forced to. You have this asset worth so much, you can't hold on to it and expect the public to fund the result of your behaviour that's resulted in this legal ruling, and therefore you have to sell your IP. It could happen.
It could possibly happen. I think they would shoot themselves in the foot, but the BBC may not have a choice with this, because as Si Bennett has indicated here, there's a lot of, and I'm paraphrasing now, this is not his words, but there's going to be an awful lot of reviews going on in the BBC about what they're doing and how they've got to make good quality production, to get the viewing public back, but also that they can sell. They can market, they can, and in Doctor Who's case, it's got to be able to sell worldwide. And let's just face it, they shafted everybody that took Doctor Who pre-Disney deal.
Mm.
You know, would they be prepared in a changing world to take Doctor Who back if they went back to them, if they couldn't find a distributor? I don't know. But it's also got to be able to sell product around the world, the merchandise, and it's got to be good quality merchandise, which we're not really seeing at the moment. Tacky baseball jackets and all this crap, you know. Raymond, hi Raymond. Complete waffle. If I started a rumor on Reddit that they were going to make a Doctor Who movie starring Tom Cruise, this is familiar. Some YT channels would make a post on it. I seem to remember that actually.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise was Doctor Who back in the 90s, wasn't it? Or something like that, when he was up and coming. I seem to remember that coming out from America. And G Gray 50, good to see you. Hope you are well up there in Edinburgh. In 1989, quote, we're not closing the doors on the TARDIS. We're looking at how best to take Doctor Who into the 90s, end of quote. In 2026, quote, we're going to all work on it after the Christmas special, end of quote. Deja vu. I see what you did there.
Yeah.
There is a familiarity to this, isn't there? And I thought it was very interesting. I was really interested when I knew Si Bennett was going to be talking to somewhere, and it turned out to be Deadline. I actually assumed it was going to be the Radio Times. Ouch for the Radio Times.
It'll be on Radio Times next week, probably, with a bit behind the curve, aren't we? Yeah.
A lot of you speculating now. Rory Nielsen, the Christmas one will end like Survival. He hasn't got the magic to even make it like that.
No, he hasn't.
A lot running around with Billy Piper. And just remember, everybody, and keep telling people, we do not have a doctor at the moment. There is no doctor in place. Great excuse to bring back Paul McGann for one episode, isn't it? But will they? No.
Yeah. It's going to be bloody David Tennant again.
Yeah.
Well, going by last week and his announcement that he's now got a scheduling issue, it probably is going to be Tennant, isn't it?
Yeah, we talked about that last
Let's
week.
start that rumour now, okay? He's coming back, okay?
They're all talking about that anyway, I think.
Let's invent a source. Let's invent a source and say...
Well, my big rumour that I want to put around is, everybody help me, Peter Davison for showrunner. Come on, let's get him in there. I really want to see him. RTD wrote season 3 for Gatwa, so why isn't there anything till 2028? Pick a new actor for the Doctor and start filming that third season as the new Doctor's first with Bill Harry. That's a great point, Bill. RTD had been known that he had stories lined up for series 3, didn't he? Which was supposed to be broadcast this year.
And we still want that season 3, don't we, based on season 1.
Yeah, can you imagine what those stories are full of?
Yes, I can.
Right.
I can imagine now, as I said when we were talking about him just a few short minutes ago, what a future series would also be looking at as well.
Yeah.
You know, it would be ridiculous, wouldn't it? Switch off. I haven't switched on in years, says Rick Storm, and I love that avatar he's got there. That's great. Derek Hart saying to us, not just all that TJ, he calls me TJ. How many deciding to refuse to renew the TV license as the BBC putting the license up? A lot of people have made it very, very clear that they will not be renewing their license when it goes up in April. Some of them are cancelling it now. The figure's going to go well, I mean, it's over 2 million now. It's going to go well up to 3 million, I reckon, households that are not paying in the next couple of years. You know, it's going to be awful, isn't it? SF Book Club, nice to see you. Hope you're well. Regarding new Who, they almost certainly can't start producing a new series until Bad Wolf finish production of the 2026 Christmas episode, which means the earliest new Who will be produced in 2027 for a broadcast in 2028. But as he's saying there, he's actually sort of hinting, SF Book Club. Oh, and you're continuing here. The earliest it could be on TV is Christmas 2027 or more realistically 2028. If you're going to film a series, if you're going to do even a series of, say, 4 TV movies, you're going to have to do them in 2027 to be broadcast in 2028, really. And at the moment, we are reliably informed there are no casting calls out there for a doctor or a companion. You're getting a Christmas special this year with Billy Piper and probably David Tennant. Let's be honest. Yeah, they would have to do that. They would have to. But he's Mr. Bennett there, Zy Bennett, is implying, the way I'm reading it, that they're going to look at doing the Christmas special this year and then see what happens in 2027 after the reaction. So I'll send him a copy of our review, should I, Who Viewers, where we're all talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't hold your breath. That's the thing. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be great, says Benign Crinoid, if the Christmas special turns out to be an omnibus edition of Survival with the caption "The End" appearing before the closing credits? And thank you, Richard Brooks. Happy birthday, JT. Hope you've had a lovely day. I have, and I'm so delighted to be sharing it with all you guys as well. I love coming to see you all. It's wonderful. What else we got there? Richard Brooks also saying good scripting will help reduce the costs. Yeah. Yeah.
It might cost them more for better script writers, you never know.
Yeah, well, Matthew Pounder is quite correctly pointing out that Sapphire and Steel was just a couple of rooms and it worked brilliantly, and also a couple of leads, but that was written by a talent called PJ Hammond, who was superb. Yeah. I don't think RTD has the talent to go down that route, and I wouldn't want to see him do it because he'd just camp it up and make it shallow and hollow. Look at the Sapphire and Steel episodes. They scared the hell out of a generation.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's not going to go down that route, is he?
No.
He's not going to be able to, Ian. Not a chance. Not a chance. A lot of you in the chat. Thank you for joining us. Rick Sommer saying Rod Hull and Emu was better than the New Who. Yes, they did.
That's canon as far as I'm concerned. Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
I concur. I am with you on that, Paul.
Here we go. The dimensions and time and Dr. Emu, blah, blah, the things I put up with. Thank you, Paul. Yeah, PTA, Paul Ashworth is with us. Thank you for your super chat. Whatever happened to comedy on the BBC? They have completely or deliberately forgotten what makes great TV. I have to agree. What comedy, PTA? You know what I mean? Do you know, I was watching the other night, The Thin Blue Line on one of the repeat channels with Jimmy Dreyfuss in, strangely. And also... I just remembered how to laugh, and what comedy was, you know. And it had the disclaimer that came up at the beginning, which also makes me laugh. I think that's pure comedic gold. And then there were things like Last of the Summer Wine, which I know Lex in the chat loves. It's funny because it's funny, because people weren't worried about offending or representing or any of this crap. They just wrote something and made it funny. Those days are long gone in our country now, aren't they, PTA? And it's sad. It's really sad. But thank you for that. Appreciate that. And Julianne is saying to us, we really need to start some in the no rumors to see how many set off the Desperados. Julianne, you go over my knee. You're very naughty.
It's definitely clickbait, isn't it? Let's be honest. It really is. Yeah.
Exactly. JT says, Wrestling Daniel, as someone who has younger teenage cousins, I doubt they know about Doctor Who or Captain Scarlet, etc., etc. The fact is, Daniel, as you'll know, the last two series of Doctor Who especially was so unsuccessful that none of the kids know what it is. Paul, you mentioned a video that we saw recently of a kid from the Bake Off, the Junior Bake Off, didn't he?
That's right. Yeah, I think forgotten the comedian Harry Hill. That's it. He said to the kid, "You sound a bit like a Dalek," and they said, "What's a Dalek?" or something like that. So it's like, yeah. That's how far we've fallen now. Yeah.
You could see Harry Hill didn't know what to say, did he? Yeah. You know, because even in the 80s, in that 15, 16 years of it being off, people knew what a Dalek was.
Yes.
And not now. And it's incredible when you think about it.
And we were going to conventions in the late 80s and certainly through the 90s when the show was off air. And I was always stunned by how many kids were still there, you know, and who loved K9 or knew what the Daleks were because their parents had got them into Doctor Who thanks to the VHSs and later on from 99 onwards.
It's great when you see pictures. One of my favourite pictures, a picture of Colin with a wee boy dressed as the Sixth Doctor, and the wee boy's maybe 6. And he looks great in Colin's costume. And it's a lovely, warm photograph. It's superb seeing that kind of passing it down. Really nice.
It's true. It's all the original stuff as well. No, and if anything, if anything's passed down, it's the original series and some of the reboots. John Steed, hello, sir. The two longest running sci-fi shows, Doctor Who and Star Trek, both ruined by ideology and agenda, and two idiots running the shows.
Yeah.
Thea Watkin, nice to see you. If the BBC were in a position where they were forced to forfeit the IP to bail themselves out, I don't know who I would want to see in charge of Doctor Who as an IP. Disney, Amazon, and Paramount are all crap. That's the other problem. That's the other problem. I've always said that the BBC know they've got something in Doctor Who, but they just don't know how to operate it.
It's only
And what
taken
they
them bloody
do,
60 years to work it out, isn't it?
but the thing is, they keep giving it to people
Yeah.
that don't necessarily have the show's interest at heart, in my opinion. You know,
Yeah.
and certainly at the moment, RTD is using Doctor Who as a show to vent his TQ cult anger and agenda. And that's why nobody's watching the bloody thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's a shame. Thank you again for everybody for all your birthday wishes. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Count 1970 Lives is with us. Hello, you. How are you? Nice to see you. Nice to see you. I mean, this is one of hi, Coclud. Nice to see you as well. G. Gray is saying, I second JT's nomination of Peter Davison as a new producer. Yes. Ideally, with an established drama writer as a script editor, it would make a nice birthday present for you, JT. It would. Yeah. I must remember to email Mr. Davison and say, please get yourself into BBC Studios and say, I'll do this for you. Can you imagine the headlines? Former Doctor Who produces Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be lovely. But one of the nicer headlines we've had. This whole thing, though, has been carrying on. A lot of you have emailed me, Who viewers, about asking what I thought about the rumours about who was going to be taking over from RTD. Pete McTeague, however you want to say it. He's the big one, isn't he? Jack Thorne has suddenly, because he's the latest thing with the Lord of the Flies television thing, he's another example of the latest figure being associated with Doctor Who. He actually turned down the opportunity to write for Doctor Who back in 2010 because he was too busy. I've heard that Jack Thorne also has the promise of 2 other series in the pipeline, and neither of them are Doctor Who. And because he is the current thing, hopefully him and his agents are now working on the fact, you're the current thing, take any project you want to do that's going to further your career. Doctor Who's not going to further anybody's career right now, is it?
It's going to destroy your career, let's be honest, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Completely.
So, there were other names that are out there in the showrunner, including a lady that I wrote down, but I can't see on the note now as well. But again, it's all this stuff about all this speculation. And I understand that, there can be a lot of talk about it. But for me, it's just this thing we call clickbait.
Yeah.
You see a headline and people will click on it. And some of these people that are doing it, I look at it and I just think, why are you bothering? It's just for views. It's to get your subs up. And I think it's quite selfish and misleading personally,
But they're all coming from Reddit leaks, aren't they? Apparently, Reddit's a common place where all these things come from. And they start from there, then they filter down to all these fictitious channels.
Well, it's quite bizarre. I mean, whether you're confused or not, you've got to make it clear. Where you've got where it's come from. You can't just say we've got a source. You have to say this has come from such and such a place, and then people can make their own mind up whether they're going to believe it. But I do think a lot of these people, and it's something I can guarantee you, Who viewers, I'm not keen on clickbait at all. I'd rather give you something that I can back up. We can speculate on our channel and we can have a discussion, but I don't think that's the same as saying we know something when you don't. And on the subject of this, did you see this week as well? Pete McTeague, however you want to say it, addresses Doctor Who showrunner speculation. Now, as Paul said last week here on Headlines, Pete McTeague, however you want to say it, I am going to get it on a T-shirt, went to Gallifrey 1. Oh, Gallifrey 1. Now, that's the big American convention, isn't it? Which is now, as they keep saying now, and it upsets me really because it should be a British one, but it's not. But Gallifrey 1 is now the longest running Doctor Who convention in the world, which is such a shame because we should be here. It should be in Britain that we have the longest running because we had the first one, and it's such a shame that we don't in Britain. I'm British. I'm not going to apologize for it. I wish that we had it here. I wish we'd stuck to our guns. Panopticons were always brilliant, and the format's there. But, But of course, all the people associated with the show, Paul, are going to go over to America to get all expenses paid, and they have a lovely time, and they get to go away for a few days and all this sort of stuff.
Well, sadly, Gallifrey 1, based on the current state of Doctor Who, isn't doing very well. I have friends of mine saying to me that they used to sell out. The tickets would come out in maybe the January of that year for February that year, and they'd sell it like hotcakes. And now they're not selling very well, and people are turning up at the door and buying tickets at the door. That's how much it's gone down in popularity, which is a real shame. Yeah,
that's it. That is a shame. That is a really shame. But again, Doctor Who is not popular in the States, and we all know it. Yeah. It's just people like organisers and the people producing the show that won't admit it. It's not popular. But that was the headline that hit Cult Box this week as well, because McTighe, however you want to say it, did take part in a panel about the war between the land and the sea, which he is credited as co-creating or co-producing, co-writing with Emma won't be named. Let's have a look and see what happened. At the Gallifrey 1 convention in Los Angeles on the 6th to the 8th of February 2026, screenwriter Pete McTighe, however you want to say it, addressed speculative questions regarding the future of Doctor Who and his possible role going forward. I will exclusively chronicle several panels I attended featuring the writer, and this is the writer of the Cult Box thing, so not me. In a 6th of February feature interview with Big Finish and Doctor Who magazine writer Rossa McPhillips, McTighe, however you want to say it, was asked if he's been interested in showrunning Doctor Who. He said, a lot of people have said, and you can confirm or deny this if you want, a lot of people have said that you're very much the logical choice if RTD were to leave, that you would be the next person that would be suited to be the showrunner. McPhillips began with knowing chuckles from the audience. Ho, ho, ho. You probably can't say things, but is there, or do you have a view on that? Leading question. It's not for me to say, McTighe, however you want to say it, explained diplomatically. It's not my decision. I will give you my party line, which is that the position is not vacant. Russell is the showrunner, and he's a friend of mine, and whenever he calls, I will come running, but he's the showrunner, and I'm fine with that. This being neither a yes or no, it's clear that among his penning the season 2 episode Lucky Day and the spin-off The War Between the Land and the Sea, Doctor Who holds a marked appeal for McTighe, however you want to say it. The only show that I will write for by the time Doctor Who came around in Lucky Day, at the stage where I am, I had been creating my own shows for a while, and I kind of want to do that. So I'm not really a writer for hire anymore. I don't go in to do other shows. Not because I wouldn't, because I'm too snobbish for it, but purely because there's a limited amount of time I have, and I need to concentrate on my own shows. But one exception to the rule is Doctor Who. When Russell said, I want you back, I was like, yes, absolutely, I'll be there. So yeah, Doctor Who is the only exception. I still to this day get a thrill from stepping on the TARDIS set. And I was on that TARDIS set 5 or 6 weeks ago, just because I was in the studio at Bad Wolf Studios. And I was like, I'm going to pop in and see the TARDIS. I still get that fanboy kind of fix. When McPhillips asked what it's next for the writer, McTighe, however you want to say it, was circumspect. Ooh. So lots of things I can't talk about, McTighe, however you want to say it, answered to engaged laughter from the audience. It's funny because I've been doing Doctor Who for so long that I've kind of had a bank of ideas. So parking Doctor Who for a minute, there's 6 or 7 big scripts that I've got. A panel on the war between the land and the sea took place on the 8th of February with McTighe, however you want to say it, Alexander Devrient, Colonel Abraham and his Smurfs, and moderator Stephen Warren Hill, host of the Chicago TARDIS convention. I'm just going to manifest this out there, Pete. When are the next showrunner? An audience member asked hopefully. Can you please bring back Alexander as a villain? So that must have been when you are the next showrunner. Can you please bring back Alexander as a villain? That's a really cool idea, McTighe, however you want to say it, answers. Never say never. And I'm not the showrunner, so as a follow-up to this exchange, Hill asked, can you contemplate about Doctor Who's future for a moment? No, McTighe, however you want to say it, demurred. For an idea of what a series of Doctor Who held by McTighe, however you want to say it, might include, the writer expressed an interest in a return to classic Doctor Who plot staples at the Doctor Who Writers' Roundtable discussion on the convention on the 8th of February. I think Doctor Who works best as a cliffhanger serial, and those should be back in force, he said. So basically what we've got there is McTeague, whoever you want to say it, saying, no, I'm not the new showrunner because RTD is. And he's right, because RTD is the showrunner this year at least.
Yeah.
So he's right to say that. And as we now know, Zy Bennett, BBC Studios Productions CEO and Chief Creative Officer, has said that that's all they're going up to.
Yeah.
Because we're getting the impression, aren't we, Who Views, that they're reviewing it after in 2027 for possibly 28 or longer. So what do you guys make of that?
Well, I mean, I think potentially Pete could be asked to do it, but like we say, maybe 5 years down the line, you know?
It's weird, the relationship he's got with RTD, to say the least. And, that really sort of like creepy photo that we saw last week as well with the three of them together, sort of like reinforced that a little bit.
What do you mean, this one?
That's the one. Yeah. God. But I don't know. I mean, like he says, I would come running. Well, of course you would. Yes.
He's a fan. He's a Doctor Who fan, allegedly.
Yeah, but then, so was Moffat, so was Chibnall, so was RTD, and look what we got. I don't think Doctor Who needs to be in the hands of people that are Doctor Who fans, to be quite honest. And it just needs leaving alone. Let it, like Eccleston's Doctor said about the TARDIS in Parting of the Ways. Was it Parting of the Ways? What was it? God, I can't even remember that now.
You're right, Parting of the Ways, yeah.
About the TARDIS, just leave it, let it die.
Yes.
Yeah.
Russell's words.
Yeah.
Russell's words. Darren Reed is saying, when RTD says, I want you back, then he jumps on it like a Metabila spider. The PBFS, not sure serials would work with the quality of writing being selected these days. No, it wouldn't, PBF. I totally agree with you. The quality of the writing has to improve hugely. And this is why I think, and I agree with the guys, and I've always said, I don't think I would like to see necessarily a dedicated hardcore fan that allegedly knows about all the series history involved in it anymore. I think we've had enough of that. We've had RTD twice, we've had Moffat, and we've had Chibnall. And look what's happened, and they're so based in their own continuity. Everything has to success from Eccleston onwards. It has to be a continuation. I think it needs fresh and strong writing of good writers that are coming to come in of any denomination. Sod your DEI crap. Good writers that understand science fiction and understand how to write the Doctor and write a damn good yarn, as we used to say. That's going to get the fans back on board and, more importantly, the not-we's. Therefore, getting a new generation of fans to come in. It's got to change, hasn't it? The writing, good God, there must be guys, cracking good writers out there that are not getting the chance now. Whether they be established, like people we've mentioned before, Gareth Roberts, Robert Sherman, or new. There has to be.
Yeah.
People keep going about need someone with a vision to take it somewhere. I just think it needs to, as we said before, just go back to basics and just tell the literal story of the Doctor traveling through time fighting monsters, like we said many times before. That's all it needs. But good writing telling those stories. You can start from scratch if you want to, that's fine. Create your own villains. Don't go back to the Daleks or the Cybermen, whatever. Just create your own new monsters in the same way. If you look at season 13, if you look at that season, apart from, I think, all the monsters in season 13 are original, and a lot of successful ones in there as well, like the Zygons and the Crinoids, etc. So why can't you do your own thing,
I totally agree. I mean, I've always liked that because I'm from that era, as you know, Who viewers, and I've always said this, push on, push forward. But I do think you would have to bring the Daleks back in and the Cybermen, but you can't rely on them. You've got to have the big bads. You might even have to include the Sontarans in there as well, just so that they keep going and the legacy keeps going. You can also now include the Weeping Angels into that, Paul.
But they have
Not
to
all the time.
create a proper story for them, because what they've
Oh,
been doing,
yeah,
they've just been turning up. Oh, he's a Dalek for no good reason. Oh, the
exactly.
Daleks are in it, but they're not really in it, really, just in the background. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
what's the point? Give them
Yeah.
a proper story, you know?
Yes, you have
Yeah.
to. You have to do that. You couldn't.
Yeah.
You can't rely on them every year. And as well, no disrespect to anybody, but you couldn't actually go forward by signing an agreement to say that you are duty bound to put the Daleks in the show every single year.
Yeah.
Sorry, nation's kids. It doesn't work. The magic is when the Daleks just appear out of nowhere every now and then, because otherwise they become what they have become, which is, oh, it's the Daleks again every
Because
year.
even if they come back in this Christmas special, they probably will. That's only been since 2022. They're in it, I think, with
I
Jodie. So
don't
it's been
think. Let's
5
face
years.
it.
Yeah.
I don't think they need to, because there wasn't any in the 24th broadcast year. There wasn't any in the 25th. I think that deal's over.
Maybe.
I
Yeah.
think that deal's over, and they didn't bother to go back and say we'd like to renegotiate for the Disney deal, because I think they knew. And this is me, just being me and speculating now, but I think the Terry Nation estate would have gone, ooh, Disney, ka-ching.
Yeah.
Quite rightly, quite rightly.
Bizarrely, they had that clip from Day of the Daleks, didn't they? In the last episode, that clip with the Doctor on the table being interrogated with the Ogrons and the Daleks from Day of the Daleks, and that's bizarre. That was in there, isn't it? You know,
I don't remember.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, in the Time
I was
Hotel,
asleep as well.
one of the rooms.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Thanks for reminding me of that. I won't sleep tonight. Dalek
Sorry.
Shalom is saying they all need kicking out. And Steve Henley with Matik Matai, however you want to say it, we can look forward to many Plastic in the Sea stories. There certainly wouldn't be anything original, I don't think. We'd have to wait and see. Would you put your faith in the writer of Kablam, says Matthew Pounder? I can't comment because I've never seen that. I do know
You wouldn't if you had, JT.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
wouldn't if you had.
Right,
and that was one of the better Jodie episodes as well, which is quite scary.
Yeah, you've told me that before, haven't
Yeah,
you? So yeah. Don't want any of the Fitzroy creeps involved, says PB. For all the claims about this show being all about change, it's always the same old boys club running it. Totally agree. Totally agree with it. Isn't it ironic that there's not enough women in the industry? Well, partly because A, you're giving all the roles to men who think they're women, and B, you're hypocrites. We haven't had a female showrunner of Doctor Who at all in its new version.
No.
You know? Goodness me. Hypocrites, a lot of you.
The last time we had one was 1965, wasn't it?
Yes, probably. Yeah, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Benign Crinoid, surely he peaked with Praxeus?
Praxeus, yeah.
Isn't that in Star Trek?
Probably.
Praxis was the home planet, or was the energy planet of the Klingons in Star Trek 6. But Praxeus was from a Jodie story, wasn't it? Which I can't remember anything about.
Which involved plastic as well, bizarrely. Yeah.
Oh, was it the one on the sea, on the beach?
Yeah, with the birds and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And even in that, they said, and that shows because Pete McTighe, whatever his name is, or whatever you want to call him, is actually, they mentioned the Autons in that as well. You think, the Autons are going to turn up, and they didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're all letting us know what you think about this story from Zy Bennett, who has basically, as far as I'm reading it, you might be reading it differently, and that's fine. But the way I'm looking at it is you're getting Doctor Who Christmas special for 2026, and that's it as they go back to look at how to possibly fix the show. I'm reading between the lines. What do you think? But I think all the clickbait stuff that's going on all over the shop, not just on the Tube of Who, but on the social media platforms as well, about we know who the next showrunner is, or we know who the next Doctor Who is, or any of this stuff. I think they're wrong, because I don't think it's coming anytime soon. And at this moment in time, we can actually 100% tell you there's been, as of today, the 15th of February, 2026, no casting call for the Doctor. And the Christmas special goes into production very soon. We're going to be sharing all the news here on Headlines with that when we get to know the cast, the production details, and what the future for Doctor Who is. But I don't think any of us should be absolutely shocked if it's a one episode this year, and then there's a break, which might do the show a world of good. Stephen Braddock is saying to us, I remember when Doctor Who used to lead, we had the crew shrunk down to be Land of the Giants, the internet in Wotan, and went to the moon before NASA. Now Doctor Who just follows. We need a visionary. I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. We've got John Mason saying to us, they won't employ writers who don't fit the agenda. They might have no choice. Let's just hope that any review board, as I'm going to call it, if they come across next year to say, how do we get Doctor Who being big again, takes this into account. Because I would hope that RTD's gone by then.
Yeah.
It'd be nice.
You know?
For good.
Gagray is saying to us, why do you think McTeague, however you want to say it, will give us more of the same? I think he's too close to RTD. He is, and that's why RTD would want him in the role, I think, allegedly, because I don't think he wants anybody out of his circle taking this on, because it might actually, somebody might come along and say, well, I didn't like that, I'll retcon it. Or I'll ignore it.
He wants to pull the strings from the background, I think.
Yeah. Raymond Williams is saying to us quite correctly, Thorne is in demand. He can't commit to a series that presently has no funding. Another good point. There's no money for Doctor Who. At the moment, we are assuming that BBC Studios is on its own for this programming in Christmas 2026, which means it's going to be not cheap, but the modern day equivalent of it. And as I said last week, guys, I wouldn't be surprised if one story set on the TARDIS set.
I don't think Jack Thorne will do it, but if he agreed to do it, they'd find money for him to do it, I think.
I don't think he's going to be in the picture.
No, I don't think so either.
I don't think so. I think he's got bigger fish to fry right now. I mean, again, allegedly, there's a completely unrelated to Doctor Who article I read, which I'm more inclined to believe because it's far away from Doctor Who, which says he's even looking at a movie for a project.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's what happens when you become the flavor of the month. But as I always say, and I said in the show, I can't believe somebody or something becomes the flavor of the month and automatically associated with Doctor Who. We have 15 years of this.
Yeah.
You know, and now it's back again and it's happening again. Oh, that person's big at the moment. Let's associate them with Doctor Who. Why? Why do that? Why get people's hopes up?
I wonder what Steven Spielberg's doing right now.
I was just thinking about Spielberg.
Exactly. Even though that was slightly true.
Yeah. Briefly.
Because it was ambling and it was for about it was until Siegel left, wasn't it? Because it was still Siegel driving Spielberg. I always think that's quite funny. So there's a Doctor Who fan saying to Steven Spielberg, "Have you seen this? We could do something with this. Have a look at this. Have a look at it. Put that video in. Put that video." You know, very good. Doctor Who Christmas special for £20.26 says Rick Storm, the equivalent of that. And Stephen O'Neill, we saw what he did there. And Stephen O'Neill saying to us, Phil Ford would make a good writer for Doctor Who in the future. Phil Ford's done some cracking stuff, hasn't he? And Lex Kane saying to us, like Tom Baker said in his final moments of the Doctor, it's the end. Anybody else in the chat getting that feeling? I just thought it was interesting at this point where we've had a busy couple of weeks or a few weeks, especially January into February, with a lot of rumors. I've seen it all over the social medias. I've seen it on the Tube of Who. I don't watch any of them because I'm not interested, but I see the thumbnails and I get quite agitated just thinking that's pure clickbait. You're doing that purely to get people viewing. And they might not watch your entire show. You might lose them after 10 minutes when somebody goes, oh, you're talking crap. But it still looks good as a view, doesn't it? And if your subscriptions are going up as well, because they think that you know what you're talking about. And a lot of these people that I see, it's like you guys are saying in the chat, Reddit is not a reputable source as far as I'm concerned. It's like the old days of the internet back in with.
I think with some of the fictitious channels that clearly don't exist, but I think if people sub to them because they think that they've got news and then realise that actually it's just bollocks, which a lot of it, most of it is, they'll probably say, "Well, I'm not watching that anymore," but they'll stay subbed. What they should do really is vote with their feet, unsub. Don't give it a false sense of its own importance. Unsubscribe because it's full of shit.
Not to us.
Not to us.
No, subscribe to us. And make sure you're still subscribed.
We don't indulge in clickbait, do we? We don't indulge.
That's the brilliant thing about the freedom to do what you want on these things, isn't it? The only ones I would say is to anybody in the UK, please be careful with the BBC channels that are coming along because they'll class it as later. And if you don't have that TV license, don't click and subscribe, because you might have the TV license. I am still waiting for the BBC to get back to my numerous communications with them, asking for clarification. They seem to refuse to want to tell me, or the British public in general, about whether you've got to have a television license for their new YouTube channels. Isn't that saying everything? PB is saying to us, actors looking at what happened with Gatwa are hardly going to be lining up to play the part. That's very true. The golden goose has turned, well, it's burnt, isn't it? It's gone brown now. Why would you want to do that? Why would you really, really, really want to go into a show which has alienated its massive fan base across the world, and that the Notwees aren't picking up? It's not going to do anything for your career, really. That's why it needs a complete revamp, and it needs to, I like what happened when it came back in 2005, a complete refresh, brand new, and the interest was there. It was muted in the UK, I have to be honest, but it was there with people going, oh, Doctor Who, yeah, I remember that. Oh, I might tune in. And it took time. Do you remember, guys? It built up over the weeks, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
It wasn't immediate, but we helped in that. We absolutely
But
helped.
they don't have us anymore for that help, do they? We've all left now, and we're not interested.
Yes,
Well, it's not for us, is it? It's not for us.
This is something else, BBC Studios and Zy Bennett. You need to understand the fan base is not there in the millions that it was because we were told to bugger off, and that's exactly what we did. We've also got Funky saying to us, if there is a Christmas special, I'm still thinking Dark Dimension here. God, if you don't know what the Dark Dimension is, then make sure you are subscribed to us here at Who's Views, because we're going to be talking about it very soon here on this very channel.
Well, I've actually heard they go to an EastEnders crossover again. Yeah.
Oh,
Featuring Paul McGann. There we are.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a source that says that's happening. They're filming now.
You heard it here first.
That's it. You know, this is the thing. I've said it. This is the perfect time to bring back McGann because there's no doctor in place, even for a one-off 90-minute special. I don't think it's going to be 90 minutes. I don't think the BBC are going to give 90 minutes of Christmas Day airtime to Doctor Who. I think it's going to be 60 to 65. I'm putting it out there. I have heard this whole thing about 90 minutes. Again, it's one of those other fan things that I've come across because fans think like fans. They don't think of the public. And I cannot see the BBC saying, okay, here's 90 minutes. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Don't care. But at the moment, what I'm saying is I can't see them on Christmas Day on BBC One saying to the Doctor Who lot, you can have 90 minutes for your failed show where you don't even have a doctor yet.
Yeah.
You know, what's the point in casting a new actor as the Doctor for one episode? Mind you, they've done it with bloody John Hurt and the other woman, didn't they? That other woman.
Joe Martin.
Thank you.
Well, they did keep dragging her back, didn't they, for cameos and returns, and all of which were utterly crap. Yeah. But it was John Hurt that was just the one-off, wasn't it? And McGann, of course.
Do a one-off, but that's another regeneration gone. And what would be the point? Because you wouldn't bring back the actor again, because there's no way an actor's going to wait out an entire year for a series, is there? It's like you couldn't necessarily cast an actor now, Who viewers, in February 2026 for a one-off and no commitment for that actor for a series following it.
That's why I think they've got Tennant coming back, and he'll fade to regeneration at the end of it, like we talked about with Jodie, and do that what they planned to do last time round, and then leave it till they pick it up again if they do. You know?
Yeah. Derek Hart is saying they should rename it to Dr. Ware. They could.
We've already had that, haven't we, in the mid-1970s? Yeah. Was it Dr. Ware or Dr. When that we had in
the one? The maths show thing. I can't remember.
The maths shows. Yeah.
Right.
It was actually quite an engaging doctor, that, actually.
He was, yeah.
I actually think we've had Dr. Ware for the last few years, because I certainly didn't see him in the Gatway era. Anyway, you can go watch our reviews on that if you want to. Ezra Goldstein, it's good to see you. Thank you for joining us as we begin to wrap up this edition of Who's Views for you this evening. I want to say a huge thank you to everybody for joining us. I hope you've liked your headlines tonight here on your big show from Who's Views. Lots of great chat going on there. And again, I want to say to everybody in the chat through the entire show, you are brilliant. And thank you for being respectful to each other and marvelous when we get into the politics of stuff, because all too often it can turn into vileness. You've just proved it's not like that on this channel. You are brilliant. And I'm so delighted. Thank you so much for being adults. Absolutely fantastic. Hope you've enjoyed the show tonight, everybody. The Third Doctor, Ian and Paul. Thank you so much again for all your input this evening. Great conversation.
Thank
you. Enjoyed
You're
it.
welcome.
Great fun.
Thank you.
Great fun.
We've got lots coming up for you this February. As I say, it's all kicking off on Wednesday live here on the channel at 8 p.m. UK time, when we are going to be traveling back to 1989 and looking at the events in 1989 that led to the start of the wilderness years. So this is the start of our semi-regular series, looking at what I now look at as 15 glorious years. Copyright Peter Haining. We're going to be looking at a lot of stuff that happened in those 15 years. So stay with us as we get in through all that. We've also got some great shows coming up for you. We've got a special show on Friday. Keep in tune with our Facebook and Instagram about that one. That's a live show. On Saturday, we're going to be looking at Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, live here on the channel. Classic science fiction movie, of course, as we continue our celebration of Star Trek's 60th anniversary. And then we'll be back here for your big show next Sunday with headlines. From Third Doctor Ian, and from Paul, and from myself, again, thank you so much, everybody, for being in the chat. Make sure you still subscribe to the channel if you've already subscribed. If you're new to us, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and why not hype us as well?
Oh, yeah.
I do love a hype. Can we see you again from the three of us? Ta-ra, everybody. Thank you so much. See you soon. Take care.
Good, everyone. Bye-bye.